Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another big tournament here for PlayStation Tournaments. It is North America. If you've been with us from the beginning of the day, it's only been an hour break. If you're just joining us, welcome to PlayStation Tournaments Master Circuit Wild Card. It is our first day of our third season. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Rain Day, and I'm joined by some of the best in the business, analytically and play style-wise. She's got the Pred badge to prove it. Girl, go ahead. Let know how you feeling starting NA today, Season 3, kicking off.
Well, I'm feeling really good. A lot of exciting action earlier today in the EU region. And thank you for all the compliments. I just want to pause and say thank you so much for introducing me like that. I got carried to Apex Predator. I'm not that good. But I do like watching Apex. I do like playing. I put in the time, of course. And I know you do too. One of my fellow top-tier Apex gamers. Definitely make sure to check him out. YouTube, Rain Day Gaming.
Wow.
And, I'm excited for today. A lot of good action to unfold. I wonder if the NA region maybe have peaked at the EU region, trying to copy some strategies, see what works for them, or if we're going to see just a brand new set. Wonder what the meta comps are going to be as well, what guns are going to be played, what legends are going to be played. A lot of legends have seemed to be viable for this, but it's going to be an exciting day.
Yeah, and let's talk about how it's going to look. We've got, obviously, Trio set up for how you would see a normal Apex Legends broadcast. Then we'll have 20 teams, or up to, depending on how these lobbies get set up, depending on who qualifies and when. That determines our teams for the day. But we will play 5 games instead of maybe the traditional 6 that you've been seeing throughout the week. That's kind of a PlayStation Tournament special, but you'll be very familiar with this point system per usual, girl.
Yeah, and if you're new here in Apex Legends, well, first place for the point system grants you 12 points. The higher you place, the more points you get. Second place is 9 points, third place is 7. So oftentimes, if you don't think you're going to win, but you're in top 3, you might try and go for some team kills and an extra placement. So each elimination here today is 1 point. You might be a fragging team. You might like to get a lot of the kills, and that'll help you secure a top place in today's qualifiers.
And that top place will bring you up to $600 if you could finish off the day that way. And we saw that go to the likes of We Don't Play in Europe. Congratulations to them. Who will join them in North America? We will find out shortly. Second, third, and fourth, and all the way down through 10th, we'll end up getting something. Fourth is where the prize money will stop. But 5th through 10th, we'll have a seat in our seasonal grand final. That'll be, I believe, at the end or middle of December, marking the end of this run. But let's take a look at the qualified teams today, girl, who will be going head-to-head against each other in this lobby all day long.
Well, a lot of familiar faces from our previous qualifiers, but what stand out to me is our winners from last time around, Fake Preds, Titanus. They took second place last time. BNB is here as well. I don't see Doja though, so I wonder if they maybe formed a new squad. We've got Outsiders, we got Parallel, Exotl, TPK, Goonies, Nessies, XMB High Tribe. Theater 3, I believe from Canada. We got some Canadian representation here. Milk Bros, Tral, Habibi. I love the name. I'm excited to watch all of these teams compete. Congratulations on qualifying to today's finals.
B&B, obviously, I think you mentioned Doja not being there, but Titaness, Fake Preds, those are teams that have been neck and neck in this conversation for top 3, top 2, and definitely first place, and that has been Fake Preds, who have found a way to get the job done. CPT, another team that I think has been really, really successful over the course of the season, and that is something that I think overall, when we look at their performance, we want to see, consistency and consistency and consistency. That's what it's all about. They put it together, I believe, in Season 1, doing it in Season 2. Obviously, very, very challenging to repeat. And so we have a whole new season ahead of us. Very, very excited. And that kicks us off in Game 1 about to happen. We also have kind of a full lobby, girl, which is good. We had 17 teams in Europe, but now we have 19 here today in North America. So things will be tighter than ever. And even with 17 in Europe, we still had a lot of teams landing on each other, which had you scratching your head a little bit. Why would a team do that?
Well, some teams do that because they want to assert some domination. They want their specific spot that they've been practicing, no matter who ends up coming to their home. That's their home. That's their territory. They're going to kick them out. Yeah. But it also gives them some kill points to start off the game. As long as they can get consistent wins off the drop, it's worth it. But if it's a 50-50, if both teams are evenly matched, it actually brings both of those good teams down on the leaderboards, and kind of they drag each other down. Yep. Whereas because they can't play the rest of the game, and they have these few games that they just can't play at all because they die off drop. So it's a win-lose situation.
Yeah, it's definitely a risky take, and I'll tell you what's not a risky take. Check out compete.playstation.com. That's guaranteed success. You'll get access to all of what we're doing here at PlayStation Tournament. You like that one, girl? I know. And, of course, we'll move into everything that we're doing in the future, as well as action for you. If you want to participate, compete, and get involved, that is the place to go. Compete.playstation.com. Check it out now. Game 1 on the way, about to begin here in our season 3 of our first year of the Masters Circuit. We've got a wild card day that has been lights out. Europe put on a show. What can North America do? We talked about B&B. Can they continue their rise? They just missed out on really being the premier team in the grand finals of Season 2 that Fake Preds were able to be. And will this be the year that they kind of take that throne back? Will this season mark a new trajectory for them? Speaking of Europe, we saw teams make adjustments like TXC and Sarah Sutcliffe not participating today. Shugam and taking the Pathfinder no less into that squad had a really nice impact. Girl, will we see changes like that happening in North America? Will we see roster changes, but also legend changes too? Because we've got a new meta and we've got a new map that teams are going to have to figure out. Do we go head first into this and try something wacky, or do we stay conservative?
Yeah, there's so many different options to take here, but North America, it's a hit or miss on are they aggressive or are they more passive, especially in a map that naturally is so aggressive with these zip rails. If you're new to Apex, they added zip rails to Broken Moon. They help you traverse the map a lot faster than regularly, so you not only can use Valkyrie Skyward Dive, but you can also use the zip rails to get around, and that just makes the fighting happen more often than not. So definitely excited to see how things play out and what legends are going to be played. Yeah. Something we didn't see very much earlier today was a Mad Maggie. I'm gonna pray we see one today. I've been watching the EU region for Pro League, and there is a team, Aurora Gaming, that plays second, and they used Mad Maggie really well. I wonder if that could be replicated here. But anyways, play whoever you want, play with whatever you're comfortable with. Let's get this show on the road and see all the action that unfolds today.
I'm going to, for the first time publicly on broadcast, completely say do not listen to girl whatsoever. Do not play what you want. Do not play what makes you feel comfortable. Play what's interesting for me to cast for the next 5 games, okay? I could be selfish every now and then. Play some Mad Maggie. Play some Rampart. Listen to her. Don't just... All right, never mind. I'm just kidding.
What's your favorite legend to cast, Rain Day?
That's a great question. What is my favorite legend to cast?
Pathfinder.
Pathfinder's fun, and we haven't casted Pathfinder in a long time, so I think that's pretty fun. That's a good suggestion.
Rampart?
I think
Sheila?
You know what? You know what I think actually has a good cast flow is Wraith. I think Wraith is a very fun legend to cast. I think when you go into the void, there's just something like you hit. It's like in a superhero movie. You hit your power. You're in the thick of it. Bullets flying everywhere. You like pop out. You're still in it. You make a big clutch play. I mean, to me, there's something special and iconic about watching a Wraith. So I do miss a little Wraith. Yeah, I mean these are all good things. I like watching a Watson. Watson's fun. And, we don't see enough of that. Those are the ones that come to mind right now. Octane and Revenant could be fun, but they're a little too aggressive in a one tone way. But yeah, I like stuff that we don't see. Pique my interest, surprise me. I watch a lot of Apex, so that's my what's it called? Restrictions, my standards.
Those are your takes. Those are your standards.
That's right. Those are my expectations to get excited. Yeah.
Ooh. He's got high expectations. You got to play Wraith. You got to play Octane. You got to play Revenant and Watson. Oh my goodness, all those. You're going to have to switch your team comp during these 5 games that we're about to play, but that's all good. It's all good. You can do that.
That's not that much to ask. I mean, come on.
All right, what are we seeing here? We're seeing a Bangalore on Mac FB. Awope's playing the Seer, ADMP playing Horizon. I don't think they've both of those teams have changed up their team comp that much. We do have an Ash. We were talking about Ash earlier. Outsiders is also playing Crypto and Catalyst.
Wow, that's going to be interesting.
Okay, we were talking about those 2 legends earlier today, and we have them on the same team.
Well, I mean, and those 2 legends are legends that I think are either completely underrated in a way, and, we're going to probably come back out of here, and that's totally fine. I think we're just getting the lobby set to go, so do not worry. We'll be back with Game 1 in just a minute. But, you look at Crypto, I think that's been a character that's just been underutilized so far. And it's funny that we have this disconnect between sometimes what we're seeing in the Pro League. Obviously, I think there's more of an ecosystem throughout the 2 years that's been established. Is the first year of the Master Circuit. Maybe 2 years from now, we'll have a similar level of prep and gameplay and opportunities and prizing and things like that for an ecosystem to thrive in the same way that we see in the Premier League of the ALGS. But I think what happens is you can have more work being done in a faster period of time amongst thought leaders of how to play Apex, that you will see different metas arise there, that maybe not enough time, not enough practice, not enough competition at this level right now for us to see some of the things that they've keyed onto. But I always wonder, is it worth just looking at what's working there and trying to adapt that? What makes it different about, and you've played on controller, you've used the PlayStation controller as well. There is some element to certain lineups maybe working a little bit better in a PS4 only environment than an unhinged environment as well. Talk to me, do you think, if some of these lineups maybe have to change a little bit or adjust themselves to this specific lobby, or if they're just looking at any meta, any option, and we're ready to rock with that?
Well, any legend, any meta, I mean, it can work, especially if you can find a counter to the comp that most of the users play in your lobby, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, for example, I know in the EU region sometimes Watson Crypto can work. Watson Crypto Valkyrie, if there's only 1 or 2 Watson Crypto teams, they can counter the regular Seer Horizon Valk, the really aggressive, because it's super defensive. If you get pushed, you pop an EMP. It's a counter. But if everyone starts playing that same meta, the same legends that you play, then it's really like a 50-50 on who has the better timing or who has the better gun skills. Mm-hmm. So it is worth definitely trying out new compositions, new legends if you want to. But if you're comfortable with what you got and it's working, then you don't necessarily have to change. But trying them out and seeing what works best and perfecting a new comp, it's really hard to perfect a new comp because there's a lot of legends that can really work well together, but no one's really put in the time to figure those things out. That's why, with Furia and they played Fuse, they played Horizon, and no one else did. That's why it worked out so well, because they blasted everyone with a new surprise, and no one else was using it, so it was really hard to counter. You know what I mean?
Part of the thing, yeah, great point. I do really know what you mean. Part of what makes me think about Furia and the way they were able to do that, and we had a lot of conversation yesterday on Twitter about in-game leaders and who's the best and who's not. His Watson was notably somebody who was not mentioned there. I think partially the fact that he's not available during this first week of Pro League is one of the reasons why, kind of not top of mind. But also, I think you have to put respect on the accomplishments that team has had. When you get a lineup that is not what people are playing, and it has the potential to, if it's effective, be so effective because people are light years behind it because no one's given it an opportunity. I do think that there's more and more of those arising in Apex as time goes on. And I'm just looking and curious about what the next one is going to be. The reason, though, I might think, and I want to leave you this question, do you think it's because they played so much ranked together as well as competed? Because I feel like ranked gives you an opportunity to try something out. You might not try in competitive when there's money on the line, but you would try and get really good reps with, because there's still something very important when you're grinding for Predator and going for number one Predator that would give you enough that I think maybe you would, if you had, okay, this is a $10,000, this is a $1,000 tournament, you might go, let's not just try it here. Let's just go to something that we know might work. What do you think about that?
Well, I think rank definitely does help, especially when the composition's more team fight based, right? So they were more kill leaders. They got lots of kills. They got a lot of damage. So definitely ranked helps in that aspect, but it depends on the legend composition, because if you're going the Crypto Watson route, you don't really get good enough practice in ranked for that. There's not as many teams still alive in the end zone for ranked. So you got to look at the type of composition, the type of gameplay that they want to do. And yeah, for Furia, 100% agree. Ranked probably helped them. They played a lot of ranked in the last few seasons, reaching rank 2, rank 1 area. But yeah, no, that's a really good point. But for the other teams that are going the more defensive, the end game, the late game strategy, it's probably so hard for them to get good practice, because ranked doesn't. Competitive and tournaments never play out the same as ranked. And I'm sure everybody knows that, because there's some money on the line. There might be some PS5s on the line. It's going to play out a lot differently. And that's why I remember Hal saying one day, we play the scrims the same way we play as tourney. And that's why we are consistent in tournaments, because we build those healthy habits. You want to build healthy habits during all your tournaments, during your ranked games, during everything, so that way your mind is set in one way. Whereas if you build some bad habits, like for me, for example, a bad habit I have on Pathfinder is grappling forward just to speed up the game. Yeah. Doing that in a tournament can get you killed.
Well, I mean, it's the actual use of an ability that's meant to make you be more entertained versus thinking of the tactical use of an ability. Those are things that we have to train outside of our own skills and from casual play all the way into competitive play, because these things have consequences at that higher level. Not a big deal when you are playing in a game. When you're playing in high-level ranked or when you're playing competitive, starts to become a very big deal when you're waiting 15 seconds for your grapple to get back and you just ran into a fight and it's 6 seconds left, and because you're like, dang, I shouldn't have grappled into this fight. I could have just walked up. I could have just used another ability of my teammates to get in here and been able to grapple out. That would have saved me to be able to, stay alive and get 5 more placements higher. Those are the kinds of decisions that you have to make. But on the flip side, how do you ever find time to adjust and try this meta out? That's where thought leadership is so valuable in Apex Legends. And, when you look at teams that are being thought leaders within the PlayStation community, there's a few, but I wouldn't say that it's overwhelming. And I would say it's a very rare thing, whether it's PlayStation community or in general. If you have a coach, especially when things are on the line, let's say you have a star player, a star lineup, and they've won 10 games in a row. All of a sudden, they lose a game. Do you switch that lineup right away? Probably not. You let them go again. They lose. Okay. So now it's 10 games. Now they've lost 10 games in a row. But you've also won 10 games in a row, just the 10 games before that. So now what do? You try something completely different. Okay, what happens when that doesn't work? If you try something completely different, that final game, that 21st game, you probably are like, okay, I'm not doing that again. What's the next thing? But then how do you get enough reps to tell whether that would have been right, whether that just needed tweaking, whether that just needed adjustments? That's why when they had this Furia Horizon, the Seer Horizon composition that people weren't playing and they avoided the Gibraltar and they just went for it, it was almost like a perfect storm. Those moments are just where you can see those on display and a team fully commits to that without it being proven that it works. It is so rare, girl, and I think that's what made that story so interesting for me and why I always now pine for it whenever we are in any lobby of any kind to see the innovators in that lobby, because it creates for such interesting viewership.
Oh, it definitely does. And another example of that is the fuse that they brought into play.
Yeah.
Something that I noticed is maybe in ranked, maybe in pubs, fuse isn't as good as it is in tournaments. The reason being, so many more people are alive during tournaments, therefore you have so many more people to knuckle cluster.
That's true. That's actually true.
Especially when they're all camping in buildings or small spots. Your knuckle cluster can do so much damage. And in ranked, you don't typically see a 3-man team trying to survive in this one small little corner, but in competitive Apex, you see that oftentimes. So that's why I really admired the fuse pick as well. There's going to be so much room for trying out new things, trying out different legends now that we've had our pioneers, you know? Yeah. That's great. It's really great to have some pioneers in Apex Legends, and there's still room to pioneer even further.
Look at TPK, for instance, here, dropping down already a couple teams out of this lobby, but TPK here working with the Ash and the Horizon and Bangalore. We have not seen this composition all day. We haven't seen it maybe all year. This is a very unique composition here, most notably including the Ash, but also most notably adding a Bangalore Horizon onto that without the Seer, without the traditional scan information, going for a complete mobility focus type of lineup, and it has worked so well for TPK Nightmare. Got to keep an eye on them as they make a couple of nice plays to finish off kills here and set themselves up to take down Nessies.
All right, so this is going on in production yard, and oftentimes have to remind myself where each POI is, you know, all these new names happening, but great kill coming in from Nightmare with the Prowler. Prowler's actually one of those guns where people say works better on controller than on PC, so great shots coming in from Nightmare to pick that one up. Did they get a full team wipe there, or was that just one kill?
It looked like they got a team wipe, but it might have been just one kill, and the team Nessies went down at an incredibly similar time period. But I believe it was a team wipe. Okay, so they've got that whole place to loot. They've also got beacon and crafting, so they've got a lot of room to produce some good armors there and some good loot. On the other side of the map, FBG, not so good armors, not so good loot. We're kind of stranded in the middle of nowhere picking up scraps on the way to zone, but there's so many open POIs right now, and there's so much loot to be had. You can take your time, but let's take a look at MB High Tribe with the Seer Ultimate coming through already. They're on the low ground. This doesn't look like a safe place to fight, Rain Day. No, it doesn't at all, but they have an alternator, and maybe more importantly, they have a Newcastle, something we didn't see in all of Europe, run by Major Kush. High Tribe, Captain Kush, Kush Nuggets, and Major Kush. Holding inside this building here, getting peppered. They hear the sounds of the wingman, and they do not like what they see. Certainly going to make great use of this cover. And the mobile cover from the Newcastle, which gave them a nice little angle there, especially even during the inside peek. But both doors being aggressed on a Horizon Ultimate and an Arc Star. It is just not enough. That is Love It on Titaness, who come through in the door swinging. High Tribe was a little bit late to the party. Felt like they were in a daze there.
That's a really tough building to hold, too. It has a few entryways and not much cover inside. And up against the horizon, there's really nothing you could do. No Newcastle could save you there. Anywho, unfortunate for them. They'll make sure not to go into a building like that next time around. He's gonna go into a skyward dive with no armor. This is pretty risky, but it seems to be pulling off. Seems to be getting a safe one out of there. Routes taking down Packers in the kill feed with a Prowler as well. A lot of Prowlers being used. Now the Goonies, they're making their rotation towards zone. So pretty far. But they're untouched. No one's challenging them right now.
Running the Loba, the Horizon, and the Valkyrie. 13 squads remain as round one is on its way to an end. Making their way downtown from the south into Lunar Cave. Daniel Spams in the corner also finding from Fake Preds a few kills on the G7 Scout. And starting off right where they left off, winners of Season 2. Fake Preds, really a glorious team. They have found a lot of success in not only the 3v3 fights, but managing these tournaments. Being consistent is not just what they are known for. It is their ability to team fight, it is their ability to execute. It is their ability to make it out of those tough situations where 2, 3, 4 teams are vying for that top title and do what it takes. And also have to say, rocking the Bloodhound have not needed to keep the Seer in their lineup. It has worked well for Woko. It is something that is adjusted for them. I think they've experimented with both different aspects of it, but no, they like to get in there and keep that fragger roll strong, and that's going to be another finish for them as they're already off to the races here with a few kills and getting near the top 10, which is a bad sign for the rest of the lobby if they have any sense.
Yeah, they do have a squad nearby as well, whom they may encounter, may not. They are in Promenade, which is a spot known to be heavily contested, but honestly, I'm taking a look at the map, and it's really the northeast side of the map that's heavily contested right now. A lot of people, as we've seen before, playing Edge Zone. I don't know if you noticed, but take a look at this map. A lot of teams end up being bunched up. We've got so much space on this map, but oftentimes we see two teams right near each other. Is it because of the gunshots? What makes it so that most teams kind of end up on the same route?
Well, this is one of those. I mean, I can get geeky here. I can get nerdy. We can go down into the depths of what a conversation I love to have, and I think that the map designers have, or we can just talk about the human nature aspect of it. Girl, what do you want to do?
Either or. Give us
All right.
both.
Well, let's talk about the human nature aspect, because I do think that in an early game like this, you hear fighting and it feels comfortable, right? When you are in an early tournament, you are not necessarily looking to be the first engagement, but you are looking to feel out the rest of the lobby. And when you hear shots, what does that mean? Hey, somebody else is fighting. It's like running into people at a playground. 2 people are already kicking a soccer ball around. It's fine to join them. But if you're going to be that first kid out there by yourself with a soccer ball looking for people to join you, it's a lot riskier. You got to have more confidence, and you got to know exactly what you're doing. And I think that's why early game we're going to see these rotates happen, and there's not as much risk to it, because if you do get third-partied or fourth-partied after that, it's just game one. And we will start to see those wiser decisions happen, I think, later on. In terms of the map thing that I think designers look at, we start to see more and more places have familiar, like, heat charts as you look at a map's overall area where people die and where fights take place. And that has to do with the flow and the funnel of how these maps are designed. You may notice over the course of maybe not this game, but if you look at 1,000 games, there might be a higher congested area of where people die, and it might be in one of these pathways that looks like a seemingly innocuous pathway, but it happens to be based on how the circles close and open, where Breaker Wharf, Production Yard, and Dry Gulch consistently tend to close on for the best route to be taken to get to the next zone. And that ultimately is why I think when you looked at it in Kings Canyon and they make consistent adjustments, why areas and maps and why people tend to funnel, it's how the map is structured. And sometimes you don't know those granular aspects of it, and it doesn't even make sense until you get enough games played.
Wow, thank you for the insight, Rainde. And I totally agree with you. It'd be really nice to see a heat chart, like you're talking about, like a heat chart of where people die or where people like to fight. I think that would be really cool, especially looking at the map right now. It seems to be working, like the map designs, pulling people towards certain areas and pushing people away from other certain areas, like really hard chokes that you might not be able to make it through alive. So really cool. Fake Pred's also on a killing spree while we were chatting.
Isn't that great? You love it. I love it. You know, whenever we're chatting, the opportunity is for Fake Preds to, excuse me, get on a killing spree. So I'm not going to hold my breath for any of that. They are just so good and so effective all the time, and that is one of the things that, you know, really makes them a great team here. So we're going to keep our eyes on them as we translate. A lot of squads dropped off early. Now 11 squads remain, girl. And we are back with TPK, who are running my most interesting lineup, not just because they're rocking the Bangalore Horizon, but I love seeing the Ashe play again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about it a bit earlier where there's so much room for Ashe to be utilized here, especially on this map in particular, because of the high, the low grounds, the way the buildings are structured on this map compared to others. I feel like makes good use of Ashe portals, and especially snares when people are caught in the open. Take a look at this tightness in a fight. Shooting their shots, all the shots connecting.
Nice.
We get a solid flatline crack here. Lovitz doesn't want to go out of position, but does want to secure this kill, and Lovitz does what Lovitz does. Young Demgod, my Canadian friend, goes down. Pion goes down, and that's Theater 3. Our Canadian squad eliminated, but there's another team nearby.
Look at that. TPK may be in trouble here. Oh, there is an angle, though. I mean, he can try to hold it. It's going to go away. Nightmare now having to face his fears in the face, as they say. Lovitz hitting the flatline shot, so should feel confident. B&B and Fake Pred's getting into it, though. Got to pay attention to this. Daniel spams its routes, and Fake Preds, they have the high ground over this. The zone's going to start ticking on both of them, so that'll even things out unless they start to move. And this is Dynasty and an AMP and Wope's moment. Do they have a Valkyrie Skyward Dive? Just get ahead of this. Daniel spams and squad electing to run here. Maybe you want to find a safe spot to Skyward Dive. Just going to get a quick scan from Woko. And then I feel like that would be the call, just to get well ahead. The flip side is that they get ahead if they don't do this. So I like the idea. And no, they didn't find a safe spot. And I think that was the hesitation, girl. Didn't want to get caught out there. And so not really executed on either of those plans. But they do get into the zone first. And that will be important for them to keep this moving. Behind them is still B&B. But they have gone the other route. So those two teams will kind of be east and west side of the core. Not necessarily in contest yet, but that could change very soon.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, they will get their Skyward Dive back here. It just got canceled. Wasn't used, it wasn't wasted. So they should have it in time for the next zone closing, which is really important. Zone 3 does a lot of damage. But for now, they're still sticking around. I think they want a piece of the B&B cake celebration over here, and we might actually get to see it. 3 versus 3, getting close. Exotl, what are they holding? They're holding the edge of the map, pretty far away from zone, and the only way that they can get in is through that low ground area. If this zone is gate kept, it's not going to look good for a lot of teams. So they want to make the rotation. They want to make it quick. Notice that they do not have a Valkyrie. So they're going to have to walk through this low ground choke and see what they can do.
Have you ever seen an axolotl?
No, I don't even know what an axolotl is.
I'm going to do a game. I don't want anyone to stop watching, but I do want you, if you have the opportunity, to open up a tab on your monitor or your phone and type in this team name, Axolotl.
Oh, is it a fish?
AXOLOTL, and you're going to see a cute little creature there. And it is an amphibian. Yep. And honestly, it says it can cost about $30 to $50 on average. I'm thinking, hey, I wouldn't mind having this thing in an aquarium. This is like a it's like a fish salamander.
Yeah, it's like a dragonfish.
It's really a really cute and cool thing. So Axolotl from kind of not knowing what that name meant into just Googling it, seeing the image, became one of my favorite names instantly, girl. There's no doubt about it. I might even have to get one after this broadcast.
It's so cute. Well,
Thanks.
Hopefully Axolotl doesn't die on this note.
I was gonna say,
no!
Oh no, have we cursed the Axolotls? And it is B&B. Maybe it's not us. Maybe it's Dynasty and the crew. They may not have gotten that one, gotten out of alive this one anyways, just because of the fact that even though they may be able to work on land and in the water as an amphibian, it's just going to be death when B&B is pursuing, regardless of your environment.
Well, I knew it was going to be a tough rotate for them, especially with no Valkyrie. This choke point is very hard to survive, especially when there are other teams looking at you, because it's a low ground area. You have to slide all the way down this hill, or you play the bridge. But if the bridge is already taken, then what do? Fake Preds is going to have to figure that out, but Daniel Spams might have an ultimate here shortly.
Yeah. I like this zone though. I mean, I do like it because this is what I think makes for interesting end games. You do have this bridge and 3 different teams participating on it. You've got 2 buildings in the back western side of this, and you've got Fake Preds all the way on the far right. So they are on basically the edge of that orange zone. And they're going to be able to play into this, and this is going to be really nice. But don't forget about TPK. They're in a fight right now and actually running away as a duo away from Regretful. Up on the side, and Fake Preds here are going to take a massive movement to try to position themselves to win this game. Where they land, though, going to be treacherous. There's room on the bridge to the far side, but they're skipping all of it. The only thing is they're running into potentially tightness here as they land on this building. They're going to have to take ultimate height and just try to stabilize here.
Okay, and they immediately take damage. Waco's going to have to immediately pop a shield battery. The other team, B&B, or someone did leave a low ball ulti generated right there just for them. Fake Preds does get stunned. He's going to pop a shield battery again.
Yep.
Oh, Matt goes down to Daniel Spams. He's going to initiate the fight and get the first knock. Fake Preds are in a 3v2. I wonder what Tightness was doing when they ended up landing on their building. They were a little bit too split, and this is what happens.
Yep. It's not even that, girl. It's just the fact that, you know, when you land on a building and you know what you have to do and you're the first person to make the move, Tightness, even though they were there and they got some initial damage, there was no follow-up. There was no plan. There was no expectation of that. And it ends up working out for Fake Preds. Big time here. But look at that. B&B getting involved as well. It's Daniel Spams, but it's also Dynasty with B&B. And I think they have 2 alive who have spotted the Milk Bros. And this must be Base Bird, excuse me, in between them. It's Route, noticing that B&B is still over there, though. And meanwhile, Dinosaur Venom hiding behind it all, just staying out of the conversation. We'll see how long that can last. Woko going to spot at least a couple of them out, and this is the Milk Bro kind of combo here. And that is going to be Milk Bros out as Fake Preds add another couple to the tally, girl.
This is going to be a big game if they can secure the win as well. Looking for more kills here. Horizon ultimate goes down. Shots aren't connecting though. Waco does not have any line of sight. Scan's gonna come through right away, right off a cooldown. That's what every Bloodhound does.
Yup.
What are they looking for? There's one last one. Bangalore in the smoke. Hard to connect these shots with that Bangalore passive, allowing her to run quicker.
Double time increasing 30% of your movement as you are getting shot at. So remember, it's not when you're getting hit. It's one of the things that makes Bangalore so elusive, and it just adds so much value to her kit naturally as a character. You do not have to actually have damage taken for you to get that 30% movement buff. And as long as you're in the fight, you're going to be fast. And it is very, very hard. Anvil Receiver, though, was on the side and is on the side now of Woko. So we'll see if maybe he could put that to use. The newly, or reintroduced hop-up to the R01 and flatline, allowing you to get some single-fire, heavy damage on those assault rifles. Right now, Fake Preds fine with the damage, fine with the placement. 5 squads left. round 5 closing at 20, and Daniel Spams on ultimate height here, looking to hold on to this. There is a member of Titanus just below them to the left that they aren't acknowledging, girl, and maybe that's going to work out in their favor. TPK Nightmare still involved, so is BMB at ADMP and Dynasty. They look to be taking out TPK, and that is it, eliminated there. And is now just a 4-squad game with one solo of Titanus making their way out into the field. Who's going to get him first?
Kresu is eliminated. Titanus is out. They made 4th place, though. They got a good amount of placement points off of that one. Unfortunate when they were in the gaunt spot. Fake Fred's taking down 1, taking down 2. Regretful Tech both out right now. Parallel eliminated. There's just one more squad remaining, and this is BMB. The 2v3 is going to happen.
Look at this. Is BMB going to be able to make a move? It just seems so doubtful considering there's 3 of Fake Preds, and there's nothing fake about him. Route goes to the sky. He'll land down. Hiding behind the smoke is ADMP. What's he got? Car face into the back, and the back will fall. One more swap to the R301, and we'll go. Ready to get going. That's one teammate down. It's just a moment before the other joins him to rest in peace as the car will sing, and it'll sing a sweet song of Fake Pred's victory in game number 1 of our first day in Season 3 of our North American Master Circuit here at PlayStation Tournaments.
Huge shout out to Fake Preds. They did so incredibly well in our first game. They picked up so many kills. I can't wait to see these leaderboards, but they were just on the same page the whole entire game.
Yeah, but you know what I'm chanting, girl?
Yeah?
Axolotl, axolotl, axolotl. Go look at that cute little creature. That is just such fun. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, too, you got to say, game 1, everybody showed up a little bit. It wasn't one of those lobbies where you felt that, 90% of the lobby was just, players, NPCs, so that Fake Preds and BMB can, have fun while playing an Apex Legends game. It really felt like there were some decent narratives. The TPK, I had mentioned them, running a different lineup. They made it into top 5s. BMB had a duo squad. They made it into top 2 the entire time. That was pretty strong. Titanus, they showed up. They had a couple of good interchanges. They stayed for a while. Unfortunately, you wasn't able to make it past kind of the open field fight. And then Fake Preds, we talk about them. They win last season. I guess they pop off in game 1. I mean, talk about coming back strong for Season 3. There was just so many good things here in game 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And BNB, right? They made 2nd place, but if you remember how they did make 2nd place is one of them survived with 1 HP. Bangalore survived with 1 HP, popped a battery, came back, revived their teammate, and survived. They did not have a Valkyrie, so they ended up being in a tough position. So surviving that with that 1 HP actually granted them so many points, and that was incredible. Like you said, Titanus, they did show up here in our game. They got so many kills as well, but I think at the end of the day, Fake Preds, the amount of kills that they got, I think we're going to be shocked here in a moment.
Oh, well, I'm not sure. Shocked that Fake Preds are getting a ton of kills? I don't know. That may not be the right word for me, but it definitely will be if you haven't seen these players on the run, the way they do it. It is phenomenal stuff from across the board. Also, I got to say, just the Horizon Black Ultimate change, I thought it might be a problem. I thought it might really hinder this character, and I thought it was a really big, heavy bat. But it seems to have not done that at all. And actually, I think gives players some decent counterplay while still keeping the ultimate pretty effective, in my opinion. So shout-outs to the design team on that one. Daniel Spams with an 8-bomb. Its route adds 4 to the total. Woko gets in on that one as well. And so they leave it with a 16-point, 16-kill game. That will bring their total up
28.
to 28 points after a phenomenal first-place finish. How about dim Fake Preds?
How about them Fake Preds? They're not Fake Preds. They've got to be Apex Predator by
That's
now
right.
after all this practice. I'm the Fake Pred, if anything. I'll take the prize money. No, I'm just kidding.
It's one of those things that when you look at their name, if they keep winning and they keep doing what they're doing, we got to maybe talk about a name change. Real Preds.
Real Preds.
Real Preds. might be what we need to go for. But game one, scintillating starts, and it has put us here in a little bit more of a difference. Remember in EU, I believe it was We Don't Play, and it was AVXTG ARA that were 20 points and then 18 points. And so it was very, very close. Now, we still got a second place that's around 18 points, so we have B&B with 16, but the first place took a lot of those kills from the bottom half. 28 points from Fake Preds, and that's just, I mean, it's very like them to do that.
It is. We're going to need B&B Parallel Titans to step it up a little if they want to take Fake Preds down. But it was definitely a good game one, showing with a lot of different variables, and especially legends. Now I'm wondering, because
Yes.
I personally think that Valkyrie is needed for choke points like we saw last game.
Yep.
Do you think B&B will change their mind? Because they're the ones without the Valkyrie. They're the ones that almost fully died rotating in through that choke point.
Oh my God. Well, that's where you have to get clear. And I think adding a Valkyrie now is a bad decision. And I do not like changes like that are so fundamental to the way that you have to play the game. It's like saying all of a sudden I'm going to backpack across Europe and then being like midway through, can I call a cab? You're not really going to be able to have the same experience, and it's going to change the entire game plan. Well, then is the cab going to take you to the waterfall along the way 5 miles down that you thought to? You're going to still stop there? No, you're not. You're probably just going to go to the next major city, and you've got to adjust then. And I think when you consider we're not playing a Valkyrie team, we know we're going on Broken Moon. We have a strategy that we need to rotate in a certain way. We got to get there soon enough, too. We can't let ourselves get in that position. That's what you're practicing. And so, yes, you might not have gotten it right, but I think, girl, if you're going to make a choice, the choice has to be we have to make better decisions with this lineup versus we have to sacrifice our lineup and really now work on a play style we haven't practiced for this tournament. I just think that's the better call than giving it all up and joining the Valkyrie at this point.
I love absolutely every word that just came out of your mouth. I 100% agree with you. I thought for a moment, like I was speaking with Designful the other day, and he's like, these choke points are really hard to get by. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe Valkyrie is the only solution. But you're absolutely right. Rotate earlier. Just rotate earlier. You know what you're getting yourself into with whatever legends you have. So there are different methods of playing, and exactly what you said, just rotate earlier. You know the risks, you know the rewards, you know what you have to do. You just got to play it better. And I want to copy paste word by word what you just said and send it over to my teammates, because every time we play ranked, they're like, okay, we got to switch we need a Valkyrie. We need this. We need this. Yeah.
We need this.
I need your wisdom. I need to bring you over to my friend group.
Yeah, I think as a coach, I would fit pretty well with some of these teams. I think I'd have to dive in, probably put another 60 extra hours into Apex than I am putting it now. But I think, honestly, one of the things that I think coming from an athletic background and a sports background is that these conversations, you got to take yourself out of the player experience to have them. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of coaches being involved in every single esport venture, because it's not normal to have a team of multiple people functioning in a competitive environment that doesn't have someone looking over them. It's not normal. There's nowhere where we do it on planet Earth in any sport where someone isn't giving you advice or talking about it, even in individual sports. So cut it out. If you have to have arguments and you have to have conversations, you have to come up with game plans, someone's always there to lend a voice, a wise tip, or maybe even give you some concept that, hey, here's how you stick on it and make the final call. It takes the decision-making out of it for some of the players, because we talk, I've said this a lot, to burn the ships, right? When every time you have a bad play, you can go, well, maybe let's just switch legends. Then you could keep kind of quitting and not coming to the understanding of, this is the lineup. We've seen this lineup work. How do we have to change our play style so we can get it to work? And let's be fair, some people are going to get it wrong. I mean, that's the other flip side of this, right, girl? Like, some people will also make the wrong call and not know Broken Moon, and it might find out that 3 weeks from now, you just literally are going to never win a game of Broken Moon unless you have a Valkyrie on your team. And then they'll have realized that. But they'll have that lesson for sure, because they'll have gone through 3 weeks figuring it out.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't give up too fast. Don't give up too early. Don't let the emotions just drown you out from being able to think and improvise throughout your games and throughout your tournament. So It's great. And I'm glad that coaches are becoming more prevalent. People are picking up more coaches for esports teams. It's actually really great to see. And 100% agree with you. You're such a wise guy, Randy. How did I not figure this out earlier?
I don't know. I mean, it must have been, all the parties you were going to at TwitchCon San Diego. I tried to say hi on the street. Girl, she was getting in somewhere else. And, it must have been, just busy, just in the spotlight. No, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we have a lot of, great ideas as a community. And I think that's kind of the interesting thing about the world right now is that many great ideas are not the ideas that you're necessarily listening to, and not calling my ideas great. It's just that we only have a certain attention span, and what you wake up at the start of your feed or what the loudest person is saying tends to be what you interact with. Whether it's the right idea or wrong, usually it's wrong, and so people want to scream and yell back. But I just think that that's kind of the nature of where we're at, having these conversations. PlayStation tournaments, PlayStation tournaments is where I can actually say some of my longer thoughts, and you and I can have more in-depth discussions than almost any other broadcast format, which is kind of the special thing about this, and why it's cool for people in the chat, people watching at home, really have some more in-depth discussions about Apex Legends, and bring up these topics, because I mean, how else do you get to the bottom of them, girl? I mean, you gotta talk about it.
Absolutely. And I feel like the PlayStation community's been one of the most creative community that I've ever casted as well, with all the different legend choices. So it's really awesome to see everyone pull off something different. Like, for example, in Stormpoint, we had the all lovers trio, you know what I mean?
Ultimate lovers trio with the trident.
With the tridents. Like, you don't see that every day in ranked. No. You don't see that every day in your pubs. You don't see that every day in regular tournaments. No. It's happening here at PlayStation. People are being so creative, and I can't wait to see what they come up with throughout this tournament series as well, just because it's a brand new map.
And I'm actually really excited because this Master Circuit started right at the end of championships for the ALGS, basically. And so a lot of the competition that was happening here was very organic, and it was very secular in terms of they were bouncing off of each other and what's happening in the PlayStation community. I guarantee throughout these next seasons, in just this 1 week alone, we've probably had more PlayStation tournaments than we had over the last 3 weeks. Sorry, not PlayStation, but just Apex tournaments. I guarantee people are going to be watching. They're going to be looking at different players. They're going to be looking at high-level pros and thought leaders. And those metas are going to start interacting a lot more than we saw them do in Season 1 and Season 2. So I'm excited for that here with Season 3, seeing, what do people pick up, like watching this Thursday, watching this Sunday, seeing next Sunday, and then going back into the following Thursday for our next PlayStation show at the end of, November. What do we pick up? Maybe there's a couple of things from, the LGS broadcast that they start including in this meta. I would love to see those kind of interactions more and more. And I got to tell you, I like TPK. 8 points last game. Running the Ash, running the Bangalore, running the Horizon. This is a team I love talking about, love seeing.
Rest in peace to my Habibi squad that just ended up going out. But yes, TPK is doing a great job fighting off a drop. They're doing really well playing together. Once again, Theater 3, my Canadian squad. They're also going to be fighting in Alpha Base. I really like Alpha Base. And I really love the organic fights that happen here. Oh, we're fighting against a Newcastle team. And we've also got a Caustic, 52% on ultimate. So if we fight too fast, we're not going to be able to utilize that throughout our fight. Shots are coming through. They want to maintain high ground. He's going to push forward. Curl is going to go into the gravity lift with his teammate. They're going to get ultimate height. But do I see a tightness? No, they're very far into the core. So it will be a straight on 3v3 fight. And here comes the shots. Here comes the shots hitting flash. Can we hit a wingman shot before they get away? Wingman's just so incredibly hard to use at such a distance.
It really is. And it's one of those things that with the benefits of aim assist, this is one of the weapons that doesn't take advantage of it as much. Partially because there is just that singular bullet that if you're tracking over time, and it's kind of sometimes the same thing with snipers. With that bullet drop, your aim assist is basically less effective over distance. And so that is where sometimes the wingman's not going to have its impact. But look at this. We've got a Catalyst Maggie team. Is that what I'm looking at right now? Because I see a door barricaded with a Catalyst passive, and I see a Mad Maggie Riot Drill right there. So that is one heck of an approach. I wonder who is in there versus Axolotl.
Now, I know Axolotl is a very cute amphibian now, but Mad Maggie has got to be the superior legend. Come on now, Milk Bros.
Ooh.
I don't know if they're going to opt to fight
What
or
a
if they're going to
squad.
opt to run away, but... So we've got Catalyst Wall right here. They're going to take... Oh, he missed the jump pad. They're getting shot at a direct straight line. No, Louis goes down. Jet Life getting cracked here. Are they going to get chased down? Axolotl, that's up to you.
And Milk Bros, though, showing us... Ooh, there it is. They are getting chased down. You can see the Maggie wrecking ball going back right there. And that will obviously cause a bit of trouble. But in some ways, it's actually given them a little bit more than they should have asked for, because guess who got the speed boost on that wrecking ball?
No.
It was Axolotl, unfortunately. Yep. She threw it the direction of the team coming at them, so they actually decreased the distance, and the wall will buy some time, but not enough. That's Jet Life. That's a Catalyst down. You know, next time, that's actually a really good decision, good thing to consider, because I can see why you would throw that ball at them, but when you really think about it, throwing it in front of you for the speed boost is really the only way to make sure that you have any level of advantage. But then they'll still use it right after you, so it's a tough one. Obviously, not every character is best for getting out of tough situations like that. And it certainly wasn't the case for Mad Maggie, but I believe that she will stay alive. Still 2 KP go the way of Axolotl.
Yeah, actually my teammate has done that just the other day. He threw the Mad Maggie ball behind him, and I subtly said, "You do know that gives them the speed boost, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I thought of that a little too late."
A little too late.
So I guess every Mad Maggie's kind of going through that same phase. But you live and you learn, you know. You do it once, you don't do it again, hopefully.
Yeah.
But Axolotl, they're doing a great job. And like you said, they're not running the Valkyrie comp as well as Titanus. This Bangalore Bloodhound combo is just really dominant among our tournament today, along with the Horizon, one of the best legends in the game. I wonder why they replaced the Seer with a Bloodhound.
Well, we are about to find out. I think there's also an element of preference. And I think that sometimes that is the case when you get into situations. This must be TPK, the only team I've seen run an Ash. They set up the trap. Chris Ooh had no problem with it. Look at the confidence for Chris. And there's many players still left alive here, at least 2, or at least 1. Chris, by himself, took the Ash portal and then took down the rest of TPK. That is actually it. It will be TPK eliminated. But Titanus making quick work of a team I've been looking at. And it just goes to show, you know, I mean, maybe that Ash portal needs to be up in the air like that Wraith portal, where you can kind of do it so that you trap a team. If they try to take it, then they basically fall and are super vulnerable as they're falling while you're there at the other end of the portal. I don't know. I just think a lot of the Ash tech is... It sounded like I said Aztec. I mean, obviously, that's a thing. But Ash technology of how to use her abilities to the best efficiency have not been, you know, looked at lately. I mean, it's just a character that's on the up and up. So I hope to see TPK continue that up, even though they will have to wait till next game to get back in.
I actually saw that suggestion on the Twitter timeline the other day. Someone asked, how could they make Ash better? Well, maybe if Ash portals could go anywhere they wanted instead of just on top of an object. But I'm just like, that sounds a little crazy in my opinion. It kind of sounds
really?
like a little fun, you know, a little Portal 2 action almost, right? But I don't know. Would that be OP, do you think, Rain Day? If it hit the air?
You know, if the portal could... So it has to go to an object. Ash can't get to the air. I thought she could get to the air. She can't.
No, you can't just throw a portal up into the sky. You can throw it on top of a building, but not into the sky. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would like that. I mean, obviously, if you just go straight up into the sky, it's kind of a really fun in late game tech. I also think what would really happen, I mean, this is one of those things where playtesting comes in. Fake Preds, no need to playtest here. They're continuing their run, and they take down High Tribe. It's Captain Kush, Kush Nuggets, and Major Kush going down yet again. But yeah, I mean, okay, let's talk about it. What's the most, here's how I think you have to look at it. What is the worst possible, most broken thing that could happen if that takes place? That's what you have to think. End game fights. So
if you end up using an Ash portal, right, in a very small circle, like the smallest circle you could imagine, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Someone takes it, they fall, they take it again, they fall. Like, you know what I mean?
The reset. Okay, so then basically what you would need for something like that is to stop the amount of times that you can go through that portal, basically. Or you would have to put a reset timer on the ability to take the portal. Because if it's like 5 seconds, right, before you could like somehow theoretically take the portal again, then by the time you're done, let's say in a situation like that, 5 seconds after you drop, you have to have a little bit of time on the ground. And then maybe it's, even if it's 7 or 8 seconds, you have to have time on the ground guaranteed. You can't just take it back up. You're still vulnerable. And if you're like trying to outlive a very small circle, the circle damage will get you by the time that you're ready. Maybe you could take it twice, you know, but that's what Wraith Portal is. You can take Wraith Portal like probably 2 times pretty safely in a game circle. So, okay. And I think these are conversations to have. The problem is, okay, when you redesign a tech of an ability like that, how long does it take? Because the more complicated you get, the more that programming time from someone designing and programming and working on a new ability for a new legend or a new something, right, is going into a rework of an old legend. And I think that's always the conversation you have to remember. You know, designers and developers, people are getting paid full time to be working on this, and there are resources. Like, you have to kind of delegate where those program changes are going to.
You definitely have to. And I just want to, yeah. What is going on? Fake Preds is on a killing spree, as always. Goonies, Gunna, last one remaining for their squad. It's only zone 2. You can heal through this. You can go back and revive. But how many syringes do we have? We've got 8. That's enough. That's enough to get some kind of recovery, but behind them is BNB, and that's not going to look good for Gunna here right now. We don't have Valkyrie's Skyward Dive, and we're caught out in the open in the field. BNB, a duo, securing themselves that KP, those kill points. Fake Preds, they're going to Skyward Dive into the zone, potentially get themselves a Kraber, an RE45. What are we getting here, boys? What are we getting? What do you guess?
Oh, RE45, I would hope. They didn't ping anything, so
I
whatever it was.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either. Maybe it was Wilco, maybe it was Daniel Spams who picked that one up. I'm not sure. Certainly don't see anything on route right now. And not on Daniel Spams. Wilco, we don't know. Very possibly could have it as the Bloodhound.
Yeah, it also could have been a gold bag, gold helmet.
It looks like it was. Looks like it was either a gold bag or a gold helm.
Yeah.
We will not know, though, but we know that there's a possibility for either of the 2 kind of new passives for those abilities. The helmet now giving you the extra shield revive, basically potential, when you are using it onto a teammate. So essentially taking what the gold backpack was before. The gold backpack now kind of giving you an extra set of abilities to not only grab an extra med kit and extra shield battery and extra Phoenix kit, but to stack those things. So definitely gives you quite a lot of room to be able to outfit your team to the best of ability. As Fake Preds are just rolling through this lobby. Axolotl having a really good return in Season 3, too. Game 1 went pretty well. They got a couple of kills.
Oh, no.
Oh, Danny goes down. You are right.
You said that Danny went down.
After that, too.
After goes down. And after die is gonna clutch.
Oh, he's got it. He's got it. He's got it. But can he finish?
Can he get a first? No, almost got the kill point, but died right before that. Unlucky.
Why'd you cast or curse him, girl?
You cast or cursed him.
What?
You were just saying they're having a good game.
No,
that wasn't me.
You were the one talking about how cute their mascot was. All right, that was you. That was
their mascot's pretty darn cute, though.
See,
I'm
there
gonna
you
be
go.
honest.
There you go, guys. I'm sorry, Axolotl. You know, next time I will make sure girl does not try to preemptively speak nicely about you. You know, I will keep things stable over here. We apologize for that, but obviously still not a bad performance for them. 6th place, they had about 2-3 kills at least, so we'll be going back after game 2, feeling pretty confident about their chances here. This is a team that placed 8th overall in our grand final, so they got some prize money. Really, you know, 8th is where the money kind of starts to kick up there and starts to be legitimate for our grand finals, where you're like, okay. So that was a good showing from them last season, obviously looking to improve, whether it's 4th or 5th, or, hey, maybe even top 3. We'll have to wait and see, but Outsiders running an interesting lineup. Dinosaur Venom, been a mainstay for us, playing the Pathfinder, and Packers rocking the Catalyst. So already more Catalysts than we have seen in Europe in just a game or two.
100%, and they're doing a good job. They're not peeking outside. Because they're a duo, they don't want to expose that they're a duo, so they're keeping the doors closed. They're keeping them locked. Nobody can come in. Nobody knows what's going on the inside, all right? What kind of experiments are going down in there? Nobody will know with that, what do you call it? Not the you don't call it terraform. You call it...
It is terraformer.
No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Catalysts,
ferrofluid.
Ferrofluid. Yeah, you don't know what kind of experiments they got going on with that ferrofluid inside.
Yeah, we're doing all kinds of ferrofluid stuff. You don't even have to, have an idea of that. Trying to keep it very
getting pushed.
Discreet, but they are moving up to the high side, and that is a nice little Catalyst ultimate. She's going to throw up her wall and drop some ferrofluid right behind Packers as well. And I like this. Drops 2 of them, and that is going to be dissuading them from kind of trying to approach. And I like that. Packers and Dinosaur Venom, knowing that their real way to win this game and have success in their own terms is just surviving. Get a top 4, get a top 3, really. That's where your points start to kick up.
I really love how she used her piercing spikes right at the end of that zip line, so it really slowed down the other team from even chasing them. I think B&B is also a duo, so it would have been a 2 versus 2. B&B ended up getting a spot in the zone, though. They're going to be okay. But it actually put Packers and Dino in a really good spot. Mid-zone, center zone, and they're safe for now. Fake Preds, though, they're on the outskirts of the map. 5 squads remaining. 2 duos, as we saw earlier. Fake Preds is on the low ground. I'm not sure how they're going to get out of this, especially with all those nades coming through. Route, is he going to be able to pop that battery before he dies? Wako also needs to pop this battery before he dies as well. They're going to survive with 1 HP. That boat just missed by an inch. And they actually end up surviving this. Now, are they going to walk into another team? Are they going to end up dying? Yes, Route goes down.
Oh,
Daniel Spams gets the knock. Nice from Daniel.
And that arc star might spell the end. It is. It's a beautiful arc star from Tech. But Woko knows that he's got to go big here. And he's going to jump up into the air. He's going to try to use the zip rails. Is there any fancy footwork up here that's going to keep him alive? The shield battery will give him the high ground, at least for a moment, as Tech finishes off Daniel Spams. Woko. Something magical has to happen. He's got to be a bit of a sorcerer here. He might be able to knock one. Certainly going to have help, considering that the zone is going to hurt so much if they get to it. High ground. Got one. Can he get the other? Is it worth the med kit? I think it is, because now you can bait the revive. And you can hear it. So if it's happening, Wilco's going to have easy line of sight. But if you drop down, you're going to have to fight against the player who is getting shielded with the knockdown shield girl of the teammate. So it's maybe just a clear 1v1. Wilco probably with the advantage in terms of health, because it's most likely just going to be a shield battery that the player down below was able to get off. And that's right. Look, Tech, that shield almost gone. Tech gets the last one there, but going right into Woko's eyes, a terrible spot. But Woko, you got to make a move quickly, because guess who's coming around the corner? It's B&B. He might be able to finish you off here. Got to be very, very careful.
Oh my goodness. This is a very tight situation because Titans is actually shooting this team on the low ground from the back. BNB is really trying to take an angle on Wako, but they don't have it quite yet. He's going for the thirst. He gets cracked. He's going to pop a shield battery. Finesse bleeds out, so he does get that kill. He secures himself a kill, but he still needs that extra placement point. Tech survives. Tech is trying to survive and go into the zone. No! BNB is coming for both of these rats. Will Tech be able to survive? I am not 100% sure. Yet, nope, doesn't survive. Wow. BNB picking up 2 kills, but also 2 extra placement points. Now, this is where they get the juicy placement points. 7 points for 3rd place as a duo. BNB is on a roll. And now it's a 2v2 v3. Titanus is the only full squad remaining, meaning Titanus should have the advantage in this fight unless the other 2 teams fight.
2nd place in our grand finals of Season 2. Titanus looking to take 1st place here. It's going to take 4 kicks to open these doors. That's with the barrier passive. And Love is just easing that up, softening them up, as you would say. 1 kick should do it, but not if Catalyst goes ahead, takes it away, and then reinforces it again. It's going to be another 4 kicks. One of the benefits of working with that. Piercing spikes can be destroyed, but the center of it is behind that door. It's a beautiful use and showcase of the min-max of the Catalyst abilities. I really like what we're seeing here from them, and I think Dinosaur Venom and Packers, a duo to be threatened with as well. And it's really put Titanus in an interesting position because they have angles on both duos, but they're the one trio here. They don't want to fight. They do not want to get engaged here. They want to either have a very clear-cut fight, but to their right, it's so congested in there, and they've got Catalyst basically locking that thing down like a National Treasure security vault. And on the other side of things, they've got ADMP who have the high ground on BNB as well, and Awope who are just sitting pretty. So Titanus, I think, have to make a move. But will Outsiders give them an opening?
Okay, these kicks. What are we looking at?
Is she looking to break the door and reinforce? I'm not sure. Just get an angle, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, just wants to walk out.
Peeking outside. Oh, this is rough. BNB's ultimately got the best spot, but Outsiders did sneak on outside. Can they do any damage?
Ouch.
No, Packers goes down. Why didn't we use the Dark Veil wall on Catalyst? That would have been so good.
Good
in
point.
this situation right here.
Why did we even do that? Because it was so non-committal. It was such a strong move, but they just didn't. They didn't decide to go for anything. They took a couple of shots, and then look at that. I think they'll want to have that one back for sure. BNB, unfortunately, going to be bread and butter to Titanus, appetizer for their full-time dinner. And what is being served up tonight? None other than a first-place finish. Titanus, phenomenal performance on the day, and they take advantage with the man advantage and the plan advantage and grab the W here in Game 2.
Big shout out to BNB for taking that 2nd place home, but Titanus stand fully alive and doing their thing, making sure that they didn't overcommit on that duo, picking up those kills at the end, staying alive, and getting themselves that dinner, that 2nd place finish.
I mean, it was a great kind of performance from all around. There were several different teams that, you know, made that an interesting kind of circle, but I wish we would have seen Dinosaur Venom and Packers with a 3rd, and I wish we would have seen Dinosaur Venom and Packers, who did a really good job to get there, choose to stay aggressive. I know it's hard with a defensive legend like Catalyst, but you mentioned not having the piercing veil. Whether it wasn't available, I have to look back at the tape, or whether it was just not something that was their call. I don't think Packers planned to give the location away as soon as he did, and when that happened, it was basically half a second before Titanus and BNB were firing back and down Packers. So I think maybe it just might have been timing. It might have just been caught off guard. They tried a sneaky rotation. Nothing really too sneaky about it, girl. And ultimately, Titanus with the 3-man had to happen.
It did look like they were caught off guard a little bit. Oh, they found me. Maybe I should shoot back, you know, that kind of situation. Oops, forgot to use my Dark Veil. That's okay. They'll learn for next time. Dark Veil will definitely come up. But like you said, I think they were just trying to sneak their way, stay alive, try and use the tree as cover. Didn't work out, but it was worth the shot, right? And they made a great recovery. They ran away from BNB when they were getting pushed earlier. It was just all really well played with the Catalyst. We don't get to see too much Catalyst gameplay, but I feel like Packers definitely has a good hang of it.
Yeah, and this is like one of those things that we're starting to look at, you know, just hiding the spikes, the center of those spikes behind the door, but still impacting the door. Those little things combined with Catalyst's passive to reinforce that door means that it's going to be very, very difficult to get in there. Yes, you can obviously use grenades. Yes, you can try to bypass that with Maggie's riot drill. You can do several things that, you know, the Horizon Ultimate will go and pull through that door still. But you're talking about a lot of work, and this is where Watson really becomes, like, the conversation leans towards Watson, right? Nobody is too afraid specifically of running into a Watson fence. It's the fact that when something's Watson fenced up and you know you got to go through that, and there's all these little steps, and then if you do get hit with it and you're in a fair fight, it is probably going to allow them to win that fight against you. It just starts to be reasons why you don't push it. And then that gives them a lot of security over these buildings when you have a legend like that. So kudos to Packers showing us a little bit of that Catalyst tech, but it was all tightness at the end of the day, and they played this one perfectly.
As well as Parallel and Fake Preds having that 3v3 earlier. That was a really great fight as well to watch. Tech doing a great job staying alive. But Wako doing a great job taking the high ground in such a stressful situation, 1 versus 2. He decides, hey, I'm 1 HP, but I'm going to take the high ground and end up winning this. So Titanus, let's take a look. 4, 3, 7, 8 kills.
20 bombs.
And over 3,000 damage cumulatively. Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having my back.
That's a hard one there sometimes when you're talking as fast as we are. And about as much as we are. Fake Preds, Titanus. Nothing strange here. If you are a fan of our season and you've seen our grand finals, that's exactly what it looked like, except it was 81 points to the name of Fake Preds, 68 to Titanus when it was all said and done. Now it's only a 12-point difference instead of the 13 that was the difference in the grand finals. B&B right behind them as well, and that's actually exactly what happened too. 66 points to the 68, and B&B is now only 2 points behind Titanus. So a lot of parallels happening, and Parallel, they did not come in 4th. They came in 7th, but that is strangely right before Axolotl, who was also 8th. And TPK, a team that has not been in the mix, now putting themselves firmly in the mix in 5th. And that is something that I think is a great story for us to keep picking up on. The teams that are changing, the teams that are consistently performing, seems like Titanus, Fake Preds, going back at it again. Well, make sure to check out compete.playstation.com. You can see all the past results of what's happened. You can check out what's happening upcoming. We have a huge schedule of content, gaming, and tournaments happening this November. We are rushing all the good stuff here before the holiday season, and you know that means that we have the best saved for last. So not only more wildcards, but more Dragon Ball FighterZ, more Mortal Kombat 11, more Rainbow Six, more Fortnite, all the great things. And you can be involved in it, whether as a viewer or whether you sign up to participate in those cash prizes and open tournaments. Also want a big shout out to Warrior Week. If you don't know about Warrior Week, it is a 7-day live streaming event benefiting the injured veterans whom WWP serves. Streamers come together in honor of Veterans Day to raise awareness and critical funds so that WWP can provide life-changing programs to wounded warriors and their families. You can register today at tiltify.com/WWP/warrior-week-2022. So make sure to go ahead and register if you can. You want to support the cause. Big shout out to our veterans, and thank you so much for your service. Want to make sure we get that handled and let you know about it. We are going on a quick break. Up and coming. Game 3 of 5 here in our North American first day of our year number 1 Season 3 Master Circuit. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you enjoyed your break. I certainly did. Got myself some iced tea, girl. I'm ready to go and excited for another round of North American competition. I am back, Rain Day Gaming here as your host, and joined alongside Girl for another 3 games to close out the back half of our Master Circuit for today. We did start things off in Europe this morning at around 9 a.m. Pacific time, and now we are halfway through North America, our second portion of the broadcast today. It's about 3:13 Pacific time, so we've been going for quite a few hours, and we're going to go for a couple more. Speaking of where we have left off, though, Girl, walk us through what has happened here in Game 1 and Game 2.
All right, so as you said earlier, similarly, our playoffs last time, Fake Preds taking first place and Titanus taking second. It's kind of showing the same thing here in our Broken Moon map, but it is only our first tournament of this map, so we'll see who ends up reigning champion in our playoffs this season. BNB are doing a great job with 28 points. They had to play as duo last game. Parallel also doing a really great job. Unfortunately for them, they almost lost a 1v2 last game. TPK doing a great job getting some kills off Drop, but unfortunately not getting the best end games, as Fake Preds are really winning every team fight that they encounter in the later stages, or earlier stages in fact. Milk Bros doing a great job with Basebird, Louie, and Jet Life. They've got 5 points, and everyone's really trying to get the pace of the map going, and not quite sure how they fare against Fake Preds, or if they're going to be able, if they need a bit more defensive legends up against them, because they have been our absolute biggest stars here today.
It's going to be a challenge for any team to really vie for first place against Fake Preds, the same way it was to vie for first place against We Don't Play and Viper Squadron in Europe, but it can happen, and that's one of the stories, VXTG ARA that we saw come together in a great, consistent way. That wasn't flashy. They didn't have a lot of, pop to it, but they made final circles. They made top 2s. They won one of those top 2s because they were in a god spot, and they showed up at the very end of that fight and kind of third partied. And, those are the ways that you get yourself in good positions. You get into third, you get into fourth. You ride that out enough, or you get one big 20-point win and stay consistent, and then that puts you in a top 5 spot. And that's something that these teams need to learn, Girl. It's not just about popping off. We know that there are some players here who are a skill level above some of the rest of the competition. But what will make you and your team better is being able to be consistent over the course of 5 games. And that's what I'm looking forward to see today. TPK is the team that in that kind of VXTG ARA manner, I'm expecting here in North America maybe to make a claim for themselves as a consistent, overall, pretty well-performing team that gets a good result today. But we'll see. A lot to tell.
Lot to tell indeed. I hope BNB end up being a 3-man this next game. Really like to see their potential, especially in this map. I feel like they really got a flair for this map.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just kind of the vibes that I'm getting from them. And it does look like they are a full 3 from what I'm seeing. Outsiders utilizing Catalyst really well, in my opinion. Unfortunately, last game they didn't get to use Dark Veil before they died, but that's okay. Maybe this time. Milk Bros also utilizing the Catalyst. I think were Milk Bros the ones that died on the zip line? That was really unfortunate in our prior game.
Oh.
Was
I
them?
think that was... Maybe. It might have been. I just remember Woco going down on the zip line. That's all I remember.
Oh, yeah, but early, like...
No, yeah, I don't know. It might have been.
Might have been. Well, we'll see. I'll let you know. I'll confirm it.
Yeah.
Depending on if we see that 50-50 contest in here as well. I think it was at the Foundry. The Foundry is where they ended up taking the zip line and dying on the way out, so... we see a 50-50 contest, we can confirm it. Dynasty, BNB, they're going Bionomics. We've got Fake Preds taking the Divide, which is also a really nice point of interest on this map. Our Canadians might be going Alpha Base. Titanus taking the Core. And mostly everyone else going the South west side of the map. It's a little bit clustered here. Who's fighting who? There's so much space on the east side of the map that nobody even wants, but that's okay. Lots more action for us to cast.
Got a major question that I got to talk about here.
Okay.
Remember that team 2 Minute Esports earlier in Europe that we had a good time watching that had a pretty decent performance today?
Yep.
Well, their IGL is in our chat, our twitch.tv/PlayStation chat. Flojo, big shout out to Flojo. Question that he asked, and we're going to take this question. On the IGL from 2 Minute Esports, what do you think is the most interesting difference between the EU and NA games? We already had an answer in chat, the usage of Pathfinder in NA from Sinxiao, but I want to leave that to us as a bit of a topic and cannon fodder here to discuss. What do you think, girl? I mean, having about 10 seconds to process that question, what do you think is the most interesting difference between Europe and North America, especially for those who haven't had a chance to see both regions today?
Ooh, so is this up to me to answer?
Yep, I know. I gave you about 10 seconds to process the information and put together an essay, but yeah, good luck. Go.
All right. Well, for me, from what I've noticed, is the skill difference between first place and last place seems to be a lot bigger in NA versus the EU region. I feel like the EU region, you know, any team could end up winning the fight in a particular scenario. People were playing it a lot slower. People were fighting on edge a lot more. But in this game, these games in particular, it feels like Fake Preds, it feels like Tightness, it feels like BNB are winning all of their fights against everyone else. What do you think?
I disagree.
Okay, that's
all right.
okay.
Thanks. That was really easy because all I had to do was let you answer, and then I could agree or disagree. And
yeah, but you also have to reflect upon your disagreement.
No. Nobody said reflect. You reflected. I just agreed or disagreed with
notes,
the reflection.
You know, you start off with an intro to your sentence.
Yep. You gotta have a hook.
You have your hook.
Okay.
You know, you've got that hook. But now tell me why.
Why? Tell you why. Like basically, you know, this is my intro paragraph, and I'm trying to basically set up my argument. Well, Europe and North America, for me, have always been really different. And they are different in their core. Different in terms of their attitudes around how to play games. And Europe is more conservative, and they're more even spread. I don't know if that means that they're more conservative, but in the same way that the knowledge is spread amongst them more, the ideals and the groupthink is much more acceptable and allowed and actually maybe even favored. In North America, I see people do more unique things. I see more standouts in North America, right? I mean, let's look at the Legends. We've seen more Catalysts here. We saw maybe one Catalyst, but there wasn't people really flexing their lineups in the same way. I thought we saw a lot of similarities in Europe, and I think that's something that's always been the same for me in Europe. One thing in North America, though, is that they don't have the same consistency across the top teams. There are two teams that I really think can go for it typically, and then the rest of the teams are in a different tier. I think in Europe, there's maybe 4 teams that might be able to win it all. And that's always been a big difference. But I think watching PlayStation Tournaments Master Circuit has added even a different specific change in it. That is really the way that we have seen new players interact. And, you know, TBK, that's one thing. But for me, it was AXTG, you know, VXTG coming in and taking, I believe, game 1. It might have been game 2. No, but I think they took game 1. That's not something that we've seen here. And North America tends, like I said, maybe to be more dominant, top-heavy. But I think that allows some of these dominant teams to make sure that, you know, no one's going to change because the equilateral nature of how, like, Europeans typically play Apex, where they know the meta, they stick with the meta. There's not really a ton of outliers. It allows teams, I think, like VXTG to have a better game at times, have a better God spot, and then make it happen. You know, they're in this scenario, I don't see them beating Fake Preds. But the fact that they won that first game over We Don't Play, I think that's the example that I would give that, to me, describes the kind of the stability and the nature of how EU plays versus more of the top-heavy style of North American, more individualistic style. And I think if you look at, like, some countries, too, it's not all of Europe, but it's not all of North America, but I definitely think, like, individualism and being, like, the one to stand out in NA, it tends to be the North American theme more than it is, like, a European theme. And I think that I always find that interesting, you know, from how does where you live and like your societal ideals come into how you like you want to be avant-garde, or you want to be different, or you want to, you know, stand out, or you want to do what's right and be consistent over the course of 6 games, and you know, so that's my reflection. But I'd love the chat to get involved in this because I think that is a really, really good question for everyone to be talking about and answering.
Something that is consistent between the two regions is they love 50-50 on drop, on contest. There's a lot of open POIs, and I feel like fewer open POIs in the EU region versus NA, but there's a lot in NA, and they seem to love contesting, love fighting off drop, and that's just a similarity that I've noticed as well. So, I mean, a few similarities.
Few differences.
Few differences. No differences.
Yeah,
I
and it's just
your take as well.
You disagree?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You sure you're not just getting back at me for disagreeing with yours?
No.
Okay.
My take is better.
Oh wow. Okay. Good. I'm glad we're just being honest and fair. That's all I ask. I'll let girl recover from the me not agreeing with her point. Still might be upset about that one, and that's okay.
Listen,
you know, I might
listen.
I might
the
deserve
NA
it.
region uses a lot of different legends just as much as the EU region. All right. NA is not more creative than EU. You cannot be saying that.
I didn't say they were more creative. I said that I think they're willing to be outliers more. I think EU prioritizes, you know, and we didn't
getting
see this
those
today.
dubs.
I think they prioritize more status quo, and I think it works better for them as a region overall. It's like, you know, here's the 90% way to win. And I think most of EU kind of agrees. There's a few outliers, but they're not crazy outliers, and they kind of all play decently. Okay, good.
Okay.
Well, then I still disagree with your point.
Wow.
I'm
You're
just
gonna
kidding.
be like that,
I completely agree.
You're gonna be like that, huh?
No. I don't know, chat. What do you think, huh? Let's do a poll. I'm just kidding. Hey, why aren't we fighting here? Somebody asked us a question. Come on. We're supposed to be on the same team, girl.
We are?
What do you think is the difference between Canadian-based casters and North American West Coast-based casters?
Well, Canadian casters are just better. They're more unique, and they tend to be outliers.
Oh,
whereas in Whereas American casters, they don't tend to, you know, explore the horizons.
Watch what you say here. A lot of American casters. A lot of American casters, all right?
Oh, man.
You know.
You're trying to get me fired.
No, I'm not. That's that's all you, if you want to continue on. Freedom of speech. Freedom of speech, yeah. You can say whatever you need to say. But no, that is true. I think Canadian casters are outliers. You're definitely an outlier. I'm not sure how many Canadian casters we have. You're one of the treasured few. You might be the only one that I know of. There might be a couple others maybe in the scene, or maybe there's some great ones that haven't been on my radar, but certainly girl representing Canada more so than I think any caster out there in the Apex scene, and we appreciate it. All jokes aside and all good conversation aside, we got a lot of action happening here, and Axolotl and Parallel really going at it here. Who's going to come out on top? It's Parallel. And they are now adding kills to the tally, at least 5, most likely 6 there, and a 7th place finish already. This is massive for Parallel, a team that has famously kind of always edged out Axolotl in the rankings, coming in 7th, just 2 points ahead of them in our grand finals of Season 2, while Axolotl was sitting at 23 points in 8th. So, again, making that 3-point difference. Sometimes it's just a team fight like that.
Wonderfully done by them. Axolotl, I don't know what it is, but I feel like they're, you know, losing a little bit more team fights than I would have expected, I guess. I don't know if it's the caster's curse or exposing the cutest amphibian on Earth. I don't know.
That's up there. It is definitely up there. but you've now got to look at maybe what's going on with the confidence in those fights. They've taken a couple, and I feel like they have not had any lack of confidence. They've been pretty aggressive. They've been willing to take them on. They remind me a little of TXC in that way, that they're definitely able to rumble and willing to. But, you know, now that rumble hasn't gone their way not once but twice, and I believe it was even parallel the first time. It might not be, but they definitely ran up against parallel the second time. Then you start to, I think, adjust. You start to think about mentally, oh, are we doing the right thing? And that becomes a hard conversation for a team in an IGL. We'll see how they can work that out. Going to be watching this final circle and talking about it before they load up into game number 4, but they are running out of time desperately if they want to make a move. TPK in the same position. They're without Nightmare. Yet Zephyr and Ghost trying to stay alive. That is going to hurt. Trying to just basically see, can the Ashe ultimate get him alive? Absolutely. Oh, absolutely not. Well, at least I had myself covered there, whether it worked or didn't. BNB weren't going to let that happen. Awope Dynasty and an ADMP shut down TPK. A 7th place finish for them yet again. It's not terrible, but they haven't been able to get past that hump.
Take a look at this, though. They're actually getting gate kept. There's 2 teams on the other side of this mountain. Unless they go all the way around, they might not be able to get inside of this zone. We've got Fake Preds taking a look at Regretful, at Finesse. ADMP and co, they're going all the way around the mountain to get through another choke point. I think they'll be able to get in safely. So if you're a BNB fan, that'll be good for you. Fake Preds are going to go into the zone, into safe cover. Everyone's going to rotate on in, so no one's gatekeeping BNB just yet. We'll have to see in a moment.
Always fun. Shout out to production and our ops team, just making sure we get those nice third-person POVs of these zip rails coming through. Newest addition to Apex Legends as a movement mechanic throughout maps, and very much like in Stormpoint, in Olympus, we had tridents introduced that played significant roles in the movement of the map. Now we have these zip rails that are a part of Broken Moon, and for those joining us, the newest map in Apex Legends that's dropped in Season 15. One of the only times we've ever seen this in a competitive landscape. Well, if you've been watching PlayStation tournaments, you've now seen it twice in one day, and that's a special treat for many to look at. Long range, 2 to 4. Sight on the Arthur for 1. Dynasty's in trouble. Awope's got to do something. And just going to pop the exhibit. And this will give them a good amount of information on anybody trying to get aggressive here. They do see the Horizon black hole, but is it a day late and a dollar short? It just might be. And I believe that we're going to look up in the kill feed right there. Dynasty goes down. Awope, look at this. It's Tech finishing that off. So there's been a really strong performance from Parallel today. And not only taking out Axolotl, it looks like Tech is on the way to taking out the entirety of BNB.
Yeah, with that headshot finish, for sure. And then here on the other side of the map in Eternal Gardens, we've got Fake Preds trying to play inside zone, playing that edge there. They're looking at their backs. They're looking in front of them to see what they can play. They spot a team on the zip rails. Do the shots connect? Maybe not quite yet. I don't know if they have the best or safest spot to play, but this is actually a high ground area, so it's not too bad. There is a team inside that building. The Arc Stars are going to go in. Are they going to connect to anyone? They hit for 3 damage. They're playing against a Catalyst Watson team. Do you really want to push this team? Daniel Spams actually gets annihilated down to 1 HP. I'm not sure if Waco's really up for this fight.
They seem up for it. I agree with you, though. This is a bit risky. There's the grenade. It's just going to push them all back. Pop the shield battery in anticipation of getting hit, but now it's going to switch to the shield cell and just get it all back. Pop's also the ultimate. This is going to mean that there is less time in between the cooldowns of the Bloodhound scan, and so they're going to get that information. It's going to run, shift to the side over the piercing spikes. And this one cannot be avoided. You can shoot that through the middle of it, though, and that is what they will do. but then they set up a fence on the outside. So look at how long it has taken for them to just get through the maze of defensive traps here. I mean, you might as well add Caustic. For all I'm concerned, that's how bunkered up this whole thing was.
It's really incredible that they survived and ended up really trapping them inside almost afterwards. Imagine if they did the reverse sweep, trapped them inside, threw some grenades in there, and hey, what would they have done, right? But it's not what happened. Fake Preds is still alive with their whole team above them. Now it's really up to this gravity lift, up to the climbs. Are they going to get beamed on the climb, or are they going to beam right back? So they trade 1 for 1. No, Louis actually goes down. Route takes down Jet Life, and this is just going to be a clean sweep. Oh, Daniel down to 1 HP. It should be a clean sweep.
Oh, there's
Are they
a
getting
lot.
third party?
They are. They're definitely getting third party. That's way too many people in one area. And you can see Milk Bros was the one who did the third partying, but is not going to help Fake Preds whatsoever. It will, although, help Parallel, who are running rampant on the squad. I believe that could be maybe the last member of Fake Preds. It is. It's Ralph. And Daniel Spams was taken down in the corner. Parallel doing all that work. BNB, though, sees them, and they are, no, not alive really to deal with it, but it's ADMP who is trying to find the answer. And this is good, though, because guess what, girl? The other squad who we haven't seen, who we haven't been talking about, you can see them in your bottom corner of the map and of the broadcast. It is Titaness who are firmly in command of this one. A showdown between the up-and-comers and the ones who were scorned last season, coming in second place, Parallel and Titaness. However, Titaness only with a 2, and they've got to fight ADMP. This is so unlucky for Titaness as well, because you would think they need every chance they can get, yet they're getting griefed by the solo player.
Yeah, it's a 2v1v3. Parallel is gaining that confidence as they are triple red, taking that high ground. They're going to look upon both of the teams that were shooting. Lovitz and Mac not in the best area, especially now that they're tagged on blue as well, right? Parallel's definitely going to be calming that one out. They get them on scan. They do the damage. Almost cracked. This could be a clean wipe for them. Finesse is looking forward to getting some angles on the right side. It's just a matter of time where they end up taking 1, then taking 2 down. So Lovitz did get knocked down. There's only 1 left on Titaness to go versus the 1 on BNB as well. ADMP in the air getting cracked, getting chased down. Really what Parallel needed. This is a really big game for them. I think over 10 kills. If I'm not wrong, here we go up in the air. BNB eliminated at second. Titaness did a great job. Or, sorry, at third. It's 2 squads remaining. Titaness did a great job to maintain that second place. But unfortunate, they were not a full 3-man to fight against Parallel. Oh, no, he's going into the zone. He's going to die in the zone. He doesn't want the heat. Max getting out of the kitchen. And there you have it.
Well, that's one way to go. That is one way to go. It is very, very fun to see a team like this show up and make themselves be discussed. Regretful Tech, Finesse of Parallel. Congratulations on the win. That is 2 great performances back to back, and now the W to confirm it. Parallel will certainly be in the conversation for taking this entire tournament. We've only got 2 games left. I didn't think I'd be saying that.
Parallel stepped it up this season. You know they've been practicing Broken Moon, and you know they've been playing well, but that third party on top of Fake Preds, that's really what put the icing on the cake for this one here in that last game.
Yeah, and you know, how do you get to that point with Fake Preds? And obviously you saw, I think the fight that they were having, I'm not sure who they were having it with, but the third party that they were going at it for multiple times. It might have been Milk Bros at the beginning of that, but they were trying to push. And you were talking about Woko. Is this worth it? Do you really need to get through this Watson fence? Do you really need to get through this Catalyst? And I think this is why, you know, things like that are, you know, once you have that happen once or twice, Fake Preds, they probably just run around that building next time. And I think that's why, experienced players, you wonder what's the impact of Watson and of Catalyst? Well, that. People know if I try to get through all this, I can, but is it really worth it? I'm probably going to put myself in a more vulnerable position if I try to do that versus just ignore it. So let me go fight some other team, and voila, Catalyst, Watson, work even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time they're going to think twice about doing it, or they're going to try again and see if they could push that better, push it faster, push it safer even. This climb up was incredibly courageous coming in from Waco there, but Parallel came in with that sweep, taking everyone down. And here in the Horizon queue, doing the exact same thing at the end. Doing what Parallel do best, I guess, cleaning up today.
That's all you want. That's all you want. If you're a team like Parallel, you just want to have the conversation be about you, because that means you're doing something right. We mentioned the accessibility of these tournaments, but it's not accessible to always be the topic of conversation. That is not given. That is earned, especially when you're building narratives like this in a game. And so, Tech, Regretful, Finesse, you've made us chat about you, and for good reason. Taking 7th place last season. Well, now you're on the way to 1st. If you can keep this up, what a moment that would be for them.
16 kills, a lot of points are going to come up for them. They've almost tied it up with Fake Preds, not too far behind now. Now, this is anyone's game. Really like to see someone contesting Fake Preds for that win. And BNB and Titan is actually not far behind as well. 13 points away from 1st place, both tied up there in 3rd and 4th place. TPK a little bit further behind. Axolotl also not winning all of their team fights here today. Theater, the Canadian team, making it into top 10. Milk Bros, they did a great job surviving. We were talking about them. Base, Louis, and Jet Life doing that double defensive strategy. It helped. We were actually talking about that the other game where, hey, if you can't win your team fight, what do you double down on? You double down on defense and see if that will help. And they tried it there. It almost worked out for them, but I'm not sure it's going to be able to put them up there in the top 3.
I don't know either. I really am not sure, because especially with how we've seen Parallel step up their game, and now in the 2nd place, only 4 points behind, I believe. Just who was up top, by the way? I'm having a little
Fake
bit
Preds.
Fake Preds. That's I was going to say we don't play, and I'm like, they don't play in this region. Hold on, your brain is combining too many Apex Legends games in the day. But yeah, absolutely having that opportunity to go and put themselves now in 2nd place, take commanding lead. Titan SBNB behind them by 9 points. Excellent place to be. Game 4 going to determine so much, and we were getting into it. We're kind of getting ready for it, but where do we leave this, girl? Where do we leave our conversation around the differences between NA and EU? I want to bring it back, but slightly. Have we seen any differences between the way that the tournament is shaped out, looking at today from EU versus like today in NA? Are you noticing that it's pretty similar in terms of the teams at the top, pretty much all having a chance? I mean, I'm actually kind of noticing a lot of similarities in the way that it functioned. It does feel a little bit more top heavy. From like the bottom teams maybe really not being involved, and like really a strong narrative on those top 4 teams. But I mean, overall, it seems like we're going into game 4 and game 5 with kind of an anybody can win in that top 4 situation.
Yeah, that's true. So we do have an equivalent of top teams, really strong contenders, fighting for that number 1 spot. That's similar. I feel like it's the bottom of the pack that's a little bit different. I feel like they're surviving a lot longer in EU. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the rotations that they're taking, safer rotations, or maybe it's because the NA teams are just pushing a lot more aggressively. I think the EU top teams, they played edge as well, which made them come in a little bit slower, whereas the NA teams, they're anywhere and everywhere, and they're just going to push whatever's in their sight. They're hungry, they see food, they're going to go grab it. And then EU, they're like, hey, it's not 5 o'clock yet, we're not going to eat dinner just yet. And then they pick up the kills a little bit later. I feel like that's kind of the sway of the games and how they're going.
Yeah, that patience and maybe just the discipline of when and how, being on that track of consistency for EU and maybe more of the, I don't know, spontaneous nature of being willing to be aggressive and being willing to make a star-studded play for North America, leaning heavily on some of those bottom teams. We certainly do see some of the teams dropping out quickly. Haven't really focused too much on the early fights, whereas in Europe we did focus on the fact that TXC was having a 50-50 every single time they landed. That starts to be a big difference. I'm not noticing these top teams having a ton of 50-50s in North America, but it doesn't really matter because anybody that they're fighting, they're completely confident in running through. This is gonna shape up to be something interesting. Do you think Parallel can kind of keep this up? Because that's my real question. I think that'd be the fun story for today if Parallel can kind of shock everyone and keep this up and kind of clean house and take a big dub.
I mean, they have been taking down a lot of good teams, so I definitely think that they can keep up the momentum. It's just about who they encounter early on. Do they encounter one of the bottom teams, or do they encounter Fake Preds early on?
Yeah.
Like if they encounter Fake Preds, then Fake Preds might just take it away. They might just take away Fake Preds' dominance and their first place trophy and earn it through killing them back. But it's really possible for them to continue on their domination. It just depends on where the zone falls, how everyone else plays it. Can they catch Fake Preds a slacking again?
Yeah,
well?
did you feel they caught Fake Preds slacking this game?
Yeah.
Lacking? That's what you felt. You didn't feel like it was if they were in the 3v3 scenario, it wouldn't 2v2 scenario with a you know what I mean. 2-team 3v3 scenario, it would be Fake Preds still coming out on top. That's how you felt?
Not necessarily that they would come out on top, but it wouldn't be one-sided. Parallel made it look one-sided last game. They made it look really easy, and Fake Preds is our first place team, right? They're a really strong and coordinated team, but since they utilized so much energy on the first team and they had to get through one barrier, another barrier, the Watson fences, the Catalyst spikes, they had to get through so much. They ended up putting themselves in bad positions. They ended up splitting up in that fight as well.
Yeah.
And then they got caught by Parallel when I don't think that they expected it.
Well, it's a weird team to try to hold something, right? So because they were getting offensively engaged in something that was, let's take over the space from where a defensive team is holding, once they even won the fight, which they kind of did, but it all like happened at the same time. The third party came in, they finished that fight, they started fighting Fake Preds. What are Fake Preds going to do in that situation? That's not where a Seer, Horizon, Bloodhound thrives. They thrive out in the open, they thrive out in having space, thrive out in mobility, and so, you got to be careful about what you're really going after. I think we do look back at that, and we could probably all summarize that failure by Fake Preds as a failure of decision-making of what fight really was worth it for them. But you got to look at this. If Parallel doesn't have that game and Fake Preds stay at the top, even with Parallel having that game, Fake Preds are still winning. So that's how much ahead of the lobby they were. So I could see why confidence might have been in the way for them, feeling like, hey, let's just do it. Who's going to stop us?
Right. And honestly, it's not a bad thing to push the defensive team, but you always have to have that backup plan. You always have to have someone watching in case of a third party, or you have to be prepared to survive as a duo or survive as a solo in situations like that. But unfortunately, they all went out, so they weren't able to pick up more placement points as well. But yeah, their confidence, I don't think that it should go any lower. It's just the planning. Like, how long is this fight going to take? Yep. How many resources are we going to be using? Because we are going to have to save other resources for that third party next time, as they ended up going down quite quick in that third party fight. So that's just something for them to consider and something for them to get better at. Again, this is only our first wildcards on this map. Today's the first day of Broken Moon competitive PlayStation gaming. So there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to adjust to. Where to fight, where not to fight, where to be patient, where to capitalize on third parties. Those are all questions that everyone's got going on in their minds. And everyone's dropped. It's a little bit more spread out, honestly, in this second last game.
I have a great second question for us, and I want to hold that for a moment, but because I do want to talk about the way this game is starting, and I want to look at some of these drop zones and get your thoughts on that as well. But we have another question from the chat we'll get to in just a moment. But Wope Dynasty and B&B heading over to Bionomics in that southeast side. On the top side, backup Atlas, you've got Daniel Spams and Fake Freds. Theater 3, a team we've seen fight before, and they're fighting yet again. Also fighting a Seer squad, so they are in contest. Could very well be in Atmos Station. I'm not quite sure exactly where this is.
There's Atmos Station 50-50. There might be a Cultivation 50-50, and then there's the Alpha Base 50-50. So right now we're in Alpha Base. Oh my goodness, the Volt's coming through, the Evade's coming through, but we're not getting a crack. Everything's hitting for about 15 to 20. Unfortunate. Oh no, he goes down in the gravity lift. This is gonna put his teammates in a tough spot here as they have to 2 versus 3 this. It's not looking good for Theater 3.
Yeah, with the just the lack of healing and the pressure. Yeah, they were able to pick that one up, and I believe that was TPK possibly who ended up making that happen. We see Milk Bros now playing as a duo, approaching on both sides at the same time. It's a good crack. Good work with Chef Louis with the pot. And now going to try to continue making a moment happen here. Hits the scan, sees all 3. TPK, I believe, finds Axolotl yet again. So that's Axolotl having a worse and worse. They started so strong, and now they've really lost their rhythm. That is an unfortunate thing for us who have highlighted them earlier on in the day to see them going through now, but that is the way it goes. You have to stay consistent. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint here in BR Esports, and especially in Apex Legends. So I have to go back to the drawing board one more game to try to make a big moment happen for their team. Phil Bros, kind of the inevitable taking place. Fighting is 2. Valiant effort, but always going to be so difficult to face a third team. Even with a nice Watson fence there, base.
Oh
but
no.
That will do.
Milk Bros eliminated. It was really nice to see Chef Louis just, you know, overpeak that, even though 2 people are staring at him through those doors. But hey, I mean, it's all or nothing when you're a 2 versus 3 situation in Atmos Station. So, ooh, that kind of rhymed.
Do you rhyme? Do you mean to rhyme on that?
I didn't, but it worked out.
2v3 situation at Atmos Station.
That's gonna be a good one once.
Yeah.
You know, that's a good one to remember.
You just let that flow in a fast play-by-play call. People be like, whoa. You know, that was one of my. Well, I'm not even gonna say it because I gotta keep that down. Gotta keep that on the low. But you might see that one day. You might see that one day.
What am I gonna see?
Well, there's a musicality to casting. You know what I mean? Why don't people rhyme more? Why don't they? If they can, if it's possible, I think that would be pretty hype. I've always thought that would be hype. And
I like that.
You know, if you can make it rhyme that it makes sense, I think it would definitely make for some memorable moments in casting. I mean, it had so many times where there's been opportunity, for rhymes. And just like that, something small and little, and you can add a little bit of fun and inflection and curiosity into the moment, the wordplay. Certainly a fun thing to think about and to consider. And at home, you might be asking, what does it look like? Well, we've got 9 squads left. That's what it looks like. It looks like an extremely fast game number 4 that is going to maybe slow down here. And this is what I think we've seen, with 17 squads landing. This is more teams starting than we've seen in Europe. And yet, before the first circle is actually closed, we have only 9 squads left, girl. That is how aggressive some of these bottom teams are and kind of throwing it all to the wind with one team fight.
Yeah, that's for sure true. But I think as the tournament goes on today, a little bit fewer teams ended up being in. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, like you said, 50-50 is off drop, eliminating all contenders going in here. Let's take a look at this in Promenade. There's a fight. Yep, let's take a look at it. Nightmare, Ghost, 2v2, 2v3. Nightmare maybe going to take the zip rail, trying to smoke off, but he ends up going down. It's Titanus actually taking down TPK down, getting themselves some kill points. Love it. Very good shots coming in from them. But there should be another squad nearby as well. Ghost is going to survive as a solo. Love it's trying to get an angle. Not going to quite get it. But we've got Packers and Dinosaur Venom looking at third party. Although there's nothing really to third party as Titanus is up and strong with all 10 of their legs standing. So that's going to be tough.
Titanus. 9 squads remaining, but there's 8 squads in their way for what they really want. A win here would set them up. He's got a revved up Rampage with the new changes. It starts revved up when you find that weapon in the care package. Nice little adjustment, I think. Saves you a couple of shield cells. It saves you the time.
All right. I'm not sure if I've seen this ending many times before. I don't even know if it can end Promenade, but I think it's going to end a bit of north above Promenade. So that's going to be nice to see. Everyone's situated over there. So I think everyone really does think that it's going to end over there. Fake Preds has a really nice building in that end zone, depending on where it pushes or pulls. High Tribe, they're going to make that rotate. Again, playing that Newcastle. You really wanted to see Newcastle. We talked about it earlier on how Horizon might counter Newcastle. And we did see them die earlier to a Horizon team while they were in the building. But if they could secure themselves good positionings, then they could make Newcastle work. A small building the size of, my shed, maybe not going to cut it. But if they can secure a little bit more room so that they could dodge grenades, so that they could kill Horizon Ultimate together, then we're talking money. Then we're talking placement. Then we're talking some good Apex Legends.
And that's all we need to talk about. That's really, this is really where we're going.
Yep.
That's a good point here. High Tribe, team that's been involved. They're playing the only Newcastle today. And that is a legend that I've been very surprised has not made it into more lineups. But the meta often is fluid, like the thought process that goes into choosing some of these lineups on the day. And we shall see what happens in week number 2. Another big thing about Horizon is that gravity lift height makes it even more accessible when you miss a zip rail, because there's a couple of entry moments into zip rails that, you have to be on a certain platform or you have to hit a certain air gust up. These little launch pads, so to speak, of what feels like ferrofluid air is the only way you can get up there sometimes, unless you have an actual Octane jump pad, a grapple from a Pathfinder, or a Horizon gravity lift, which is really the simplest and easiest way to make sure you and your teammates have access to that mobility. But right now, you got to have teammates alive to use it. And right now, High Tribe only has a couple big shots from the G7 Scout, but most likely going to be the end for High Tribe. It was B&B on the push, with Captain Kush already falling, Major Kush falling behind that. It's just one more, and that is it. It is High Tribe's eliminated by B&B. Actually, Fake Preds, excuse me.
Oh, B&B took some of them out.
Oh, no, yes, B&B, you're right.
Yep, B&B did take some of them out. Fake Preds, I think, is who we're just spectating now, who we moved on towards, and we're seeing them with that northern rotate. They're rotating from their really nice building in the middle of the zone to the edge. They ended up taking the zip rail up north. They're looking around at core. They can't sit still. They had a great building, but it seems like they just can't sit still. They're looking for something on the edge. They're looking for a snack. I'm telling you. Well, North America, they're always looking for some action.
That's the thing. You know, is that the case? Is it that these lobbies do not get the same level of respect as our Grand Finals lobbies? Is it that they're treating this a little differently? I don't know.
100%.
I mean, I think there's some truth to that, right, girl? Like, you know, I'm not sure they would be adjusting. We do see this full 20 lobbies. We do see a bit of a different pace when it comes to Grand Finals. Part of what makes it exciting, but when are you training these habits? You're not training the habits now. You're maybe getting a little too aggressive, a little too overconfident. It's moments like this when it comes down to 10 or 12 points or one game that sometimes is the difference. And so Fake Preds only 4 points ahead of Parallel. They might not even be 4 points ahead anymore because look at Parallel with at least 6 kills already with 6 squads left. This is looking like they may just overtake our leaders into first place. What a story this would be. Our 7th place team from Season 2 jumping up to first place here with 1 game left if they can keep this up.
And that's a good point to make. Maybe that's why Fake Preds can't sit still. They can't sit still in an end zone building because Parallel is running around the map already getting themselves kill points, putting themselves in the lead. Maybe Fake Preds are a little bit nervous if we don't do anything, if we don't get any kills. But right now, it looks like they're about to get into a 3v3 with one of the squads that they might not want to. This is Titanus. This is going to be a big fight. Let's take a look, see if that arc star connects. It doesn't. He misses. He's got to reload. Our opponent is going to get away on that reload. But these are 2 incredibly strong teams. Doesn't look like anyone's around for third party, but do they really want to commit to this fight against one of the top 4 strongest squads in this lobby?
I guess that's the question. Nobody really wants to commit, especially when there's something on the line because of what you could lose. We're risk-averse, human nature, entirely. Yet, on the end of so many of these risky decisions is the thing that we really want. So what will Fake Preds do? Seems like they'll back off for now.
Let's go this way.
That is the strategy that has a limited runtime. Like in theaters, see it while it's out. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait a while before it's available again. So you got to make it happen. Titanus moving in on the southwestern side. They've got a team behind them, and there are actually 2 teams outside of the zone that will be pushing into Titanus. So if they're holding this low ground, they may be okay, but they've got to watch their 6 because it is happening right now. And I think Titanus smell a little bit of rotation from Dat Boy Automatic and Wanster. I anticipate something popping off pretty soon here with this team, and you can see they have them in their sights. Is it a team fire? It's a full down.
Oh my
Chris
God.
nearly 200 to the dome. And that is an easy start to what could have been a much harder fight for Titanus, and it seems like it might just go as easily for the finish with Lovitz in the Bloodhound Ultimate. Beast of the Hunt activated and looking for more.
Monster gets out, stays alive. And now it's Fake Preds in their back. No, Titanus actually might end up finding Juanster, but Titanus is getting shot very hard by Fake Preds. Although Fake Preds did stop, they're going back into their building. So that's Habibi eliminated, unfortunately, but good job to them making 6th place. Titanus were just hitting so many good shots. Kind of hard to play against that besides positioning yourself before they make it there. Pathfinder, midair, 50 HP. That's Dinosaur Venom.
But it goes to Regretful, it goes to Parallel, and so Titanus actually loses that kill out to Parallel, which is not what they wanted. But look at this, Daniel Spams finds Tech, and this is exactly what they wanted. Their main competitor is having the chance to be taken out by them, but Fake Preds, they lose Woko as well. Daniel Spams up on high as well as Route. And they are looking to somehow get away from this, knowing they have 2, and there are still 2 big threats in Parallel and in Titanus still alive. And it is Titanus who find a member of each and remain a full 3. So the winner of that engagement surely goes the way of one of our top 4 teams here in Titanus. Can they push through this and make up that 9-point differential right now? It seems like they might be able to.
Oh my goodness, Chris going for the loot box, ends up getting beamed. It is quite the reverse of last game. Titanus was the duo, whereas Parallel was the trio, making it easier for Parallel to sweep the whole lobby. And this time, Titanus is like, hey, we're sticking together. We're not going to be a duo anytime soon. we're just going to eliminate one from each lobby, or one from each squad, and make it an easy fight going forward. So they're looking for the remaining members of Parallel. Parallel's going to go down. Tech, first one to go down right now. I don't think they're going to be able to make it out. Fake Preds did a great job of just retreating and getting out of the spot, but no. Nice shots coming in from Chris. Once again, Finesse eliminated at 4th place. We still got 2 other teams. Got Fake Preds. I think they wanted to go for that banner. Oh no, they're going for that last team. They're trying to get some kill points before they end up getting chased by Titanus. This is a really smart play coming in from them. Route gonna be able to finish these shots off. Oh. No, one more reload.
There you go.
Can we make it? There we go. And that's 2nd place for Fake Preds. That's gonna put them in a 2v3 situation. Titanus already making their way forward. Got one. One more to go. And there we have it, Titanus, the champion of our game number 4.
Wow, wow, wow. Titanus raise the roof, or maybe stomp on the building and open up the ceiling. As the Titans you are, certainly making that statement clear today. Love it's Chris and Mac. Congratulations on that win. That will put you in the conversation for first place. Probably will do it, even though they were still quite a few away from Parallel, and that's kind of the difference here. Parallel, Fake Preds, Titanus were in that kind of 3rd, 4th situation. Yes, maybe it was a 14-point difference, maybe a 9-point difference between those placements. Did they do enough? Parallel and obviously Fake Preds taking 3rd and 2nd place in this game, or 4th and then 2nd place in this game, respectively. So Titanus definitely needed to pop off in kills. We'll have to wait and see. I'm very excited for these standings, girl.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not 100% sure if they did enough, but they're definitely closing that gap, or maybe surpassing them by a few. But this is going to be a really tight and close last game. It's going to be super fun to watch. I can't wait to see these leaderboards once again. Titanus played so incredibly well, going into a tough position as well. To eliminate one from both squads there, that was a very risky play, but it paid off. You know, put a little bit of an investment in there. It was a little bit risky, but hey, netted them the dub there. So great job from them.
And that is not financial advice. She's going to mention that as well.
That is not financial advice.
No comment on investments nowadays. It's each their own. But Titan has certainly been investing in their skill, their play time, and it's worked out really nicely. I think their rotations were confident. They were not able to get Dinosaur Venom. I think that would have been the real difference, because Dinosaur Venom right there went to Parallel, and that was just, it kind of almost balanced out the 1 kill they got on the Parallel's team. If they could have gone 2 kills ahead of what Parallel at versus evening out with the 1 kill and then them getting the Dinosaur Venom, that really, I think, would have shifted the tide. But what it set up for us is probably the best Game 5 that we could have. And this is why I'm excited. This is why I get hyped when it comes to North America, when it comes to the way these teams play together. You've got different lineups. You've got the abandonment of Valkyrie, which we didn't even think was going to happen. Titan is showing us that it can work. Parallel showing us things can work. Fake Preds consistently being a top performer. But Titan S with a 10-kill game is going to get a 22-point bomb. Will that be enough? Certainly to get them in the conversation for 1st, 2nd, or 3rd in this next game. Will they be in 1st, though? I don't know. I don't think it's enough, because I think Parallel got a lot of kills. I think they came near 9 kills in that game. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think Parallel will still be up top.
Yeah, it's going to put them close, though, in that top 3 for sure. It's closing that gap, as we said. But yeah, Parallel netted themselves. What was it? They died in 4th place, so they didn't get too many placement points. Whereas Fake Preds actually ended up getting 9 placement points. Look at how close that is. I knew it was going to be so close. 62, 63, and 66 for Fake Preds. So Fake Preds maintaining that 1st place just by a little, I think. And killing that rat there and going for an extra placement point, that's what really put the icing on the cake and put them into that 1st.
Yeah, we would have seen 64 points or something like that. We would have been like 64 points for Titanus, and Parallel would have been 62. It would have been a clear victor there. So Parallel doing everything they can. That is the sign of a team that has the ability to take it all. It is a 4-point game up at the top. Make sure you check out compete.playstation.com in the meantime, especially if you want to be involved in this and know when these tournaments are going live, because when Girl and I are casting these Master Circuit Wildcard days, it always ends up being a fun finish. And you can check out, if you want to be involved too, you get excited, you get inspired, compete.playstation.com. That's where you can answer all of your PlayStation esports needs and get that handled. All right, we have, again, 4 placement points between the top 3 teams. It is anybody's ball game, and it is one more game to decide our winner of our first year 1, season 3 day of our NA Master Circuit. So do not go anywhere. The answer is after the break. When it comes to a special day, we have set ourselves up for a good one. We have our last game of North America, our first day of Season 3, of our first year of the Masters Circuit, and these wild cards have been exciting from start to finish. We had Europe in the morning, and now we have North America about to culminate. My name's Rain Day, joined by Girl. Girl, let's talk through what has happened here, Game 1 through 4, and setting us up here for a fantastic finish.
So, well, we've got few teams on top, which are Fake Preds, Parallel, and Tightness for a very close first place finish. We've got BNB not too far behind and could actually take a second or third or even a first if all three of those teams die off drop. But the likelihood of that happening is close to none, I would say. TPK doing a good job maintaining fifth. Anyone at this point could actually take a fifth place because fifth is 21 points, and we've seen teams take a 20-point game or even higher. So yeah. TPK is going to have to watch out if any of the other teams decide to step it up this game. And normally on this last game, we might see some of our bottom teams end up staying alive, letting everyone else focus each other. And hey, free placement points, why not? You might as well take them.
That's true. We do see these final games, I think, when some of these tournaments are decided and there's less of a match point format to where you really have to keep performing and you have to go for that win. We do see some of these teams that maybe haven't performed earlier kind of actually win this game. This is one of those games that sometimes you see, you know, a 17th place team or a 10th place team actually take the victory. I don't know if that's going to be the same thing today, though. I do honestly feel that we have had a tremendous performance from our top three, and if it's not Tightness, if it's not you know, these teams that have been performing so well over the course of the day, putting themselves in positions like Fake Preds to be in the conversation, like Parallel to continually surprise us and improve, then I don't think it's gonna. I really don't see it being anybody else this time around.
I think at most it would be BNB, right? They're in fourth place.
Yeah,
they've been playing well. They're probably the closest team compared to the top three that could end up taking a dub on this one. But yeah, anything's possible. And I think these top three teams, they're all going to play it fairly safe for the most part. But at the same time, if Parallel continues to get a lot of kills early game, Fake Preds is going to feel the pressure. Everyone's going to feel the pressure right now. But Fake Preds, they typically go to end zone and then pick up some kills. But if Parallel kills everyone beforehand, then the pressure is on Fake Preds. The pressure is on Tightness as well. Who's gonna? It's almost like a kill race, right?
It is.
Who's gonna get the most kills this game? But also who's gonna stay alive and snag that dub as well? Because those 12 placement points for first truly do matter. And if you end up going out at fourth or fifth place, hey, you better make sure those top two teams ahead of you die before that, right? So take them down with you.
We know, I mean, going down early before 10th place for any of these top teams is like almost a death sentence, because you can just imagine the amount of points that are going to be on the board for them, left on the board for their enemies to capitalize on as we swing into the final game of our PlayStation Master Circuit here in North America. What a run it's been. What a fun time it has been. We have really enjoyed being here, and I hope you all have enjoyed as well. I know I've had some people ask some great questions. We've got IGL leaders from 2 Minute Esports in the chat. And a big shout out to Flojo, who's been hanging out with us, asking us some cool questions in all of the chat for the day. Also, Ask Girl, you know, a question. I'll start this one off because you know, sometimes we have a little bit of early time before anything crazy happens. Is how do you keep your mind? How do you deal with the downtime as a caster? You know, Flo just said, I've tried it a bit, but you know, I find myself having a hard time thinking of stuff to say, running out of things to say, getting to those points where there's really nothing going on. What do you do in those moments as a caster, and how have you kind of managed those challenges that come with the role of doing what we do?
Well, first of all, you can come up with topics before the show, right? Yep. You can come up, you can take a look at the patch notes, what's new in this show compared to our last show, right? It's a brand new map, there's a brand new legend, there's a brand new meta. We can take a look at all of the comps and how they work well together. We can also take a look at the weapon compositions and who's playing what. What do we see is most familiar throughout all of the teams combined.
Great
right?
point.
There's a whole bunch of different topics that you can bring up and talk about. And Rain Day's really good at that, asking me a whole bunch of questions, getting my brain spinning. It's like I'm back in high school, man.
You know, I have that's funny stuff back in high school. Gotta mention it, Fake Bread starting off with 3 KP. That is not what you want to see if you are Parallel or Titan S, because they're already 3 to 4 KP ahead of you, and they just got 3 more. So now the difference is 7. And that is starting to become a problem for them. Really great start for Fake Preds, though. But, you know, yeah, back in high school, I mean, I think taking notes and I think coming prepared. When I first started casting, and I did, happy to be going to DreamHack next week to do some casting as well, and it'll be in Atlanta. But at my first ever casting event in Atlanta was actually at a DreamHack, and it was in Sweden. And I took a big notebook, and I wrote down every single possible question I could think of. And it was like, what do I ask? Like, things to cast. I had just topics and thoughts that I had thought of. And I think when you're a content creator of some sort, or you play the game a lot, it's really easy to do that. Like, you know, people are playing a lot of Barrack. Why do you think that is? You know, or a character like, you know, I haven't seen this character, but I feel like they're good for this, and this reason. Do you agree? Do you not? You know, what does that mean to you? Like, let's kick that conversation off. You know, what's the best front line right now in the meta, and why would you put it in that position? You know, if you're in the play-by-play role, it's nice to set up your analyst, especially if she knows a lot like Girl, to have conversations that, you know, then she can show off her expertise and allow people who are watching to be engaged and then stay connected to that answer. But a notebook is, like, really a great idea. I still have it. I don't know where it is. It's probably in my nightstand or something. But I look back and I'm like, wow, I was so prepared. Really helped me to fill that that middle space there. And then when you get more comfortable, I think you start to flow with it, you know. I think the other big thing is rapport. You know, we haven't done a lot of casting in person. Girl actually and I have never casted in person, but when I casted with a good buddy of mine, you know, we had so many jokes. We were hanging out so often in person that, you know, we could fill banter very easily about real life and then switch right back to the game and almost not take too much away from it. Harder to do virtually, but I think that's another thing that when you get more comfortable, that helps you to fill downtime. And I think that helps people really like your casting pair too. So a couple of notes there, but yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Girl. That's a great way to start. That's what I would suggest.
All right, so we need a sponsored Girl and Rain Day IRL stream.
There it is.
Get some good content flowing throughout the shows. All right, where are we headed, Rain Day, if you were to choose a spot?
Where are we headed? Well, you know what? Anybody in Atlanta need Girl to come down from, you know, Canada for a couple of shows? You know, hey, that could happen. But no, for real, I think I'd like to do an East Coast thing. I mean, you're not too far away from something like
New
that.
York.
Or New York, you know, New York, Atlanta, California. That's what I'm feeling. One of those three has got to be the inaugural meetup there. I don't know. It'd be great.
You've been to Vancouver. How's that?
I have not been to Canada.
I thought you said
or maybe it's me needing to go to Canada. That's the other possibility.
You almost had a trip there, no?
No. Well, I never went. No, I didn't have a trip there.
Oh, I thought you planned on going down to Vancouver. Might be mixing you up with
no.
one of my other 1,000 friends, but.
Oh wow, wow. Okay, so a little friend flex there. Nice, no problem. You feel about as comfy in your friendships as Theater 3 here in this little Space Moon pod with tons of loot and no enemies in sight. But I did actually want to go. I had a cousin who had a relationship that actually moved over there. So he went to Vancouver a bunch of times. And I think we had planned a snowboarding trip or something. Just didn't happen.
Oh.
And so, but yeah, I would love this. I mean, hey, maybe PlayStation will do a event, right? Maybe we'll get a community PlayStation tournaments live event. Anyone listening, talking, I think that would be a great time. Yeah, Girl and I would definitely make it a priority to get out there. We'll even film an on-site episode of Dropping In. And we'll do 2 for 1.
Ooh, that'd be so cool. And getting the interviews there as well. Bringing in a coach, getting some rank games. Oh, there's so much opportunity for content there. Oh, take a look at this.
Oh,
what happened to Chris?
Oh,
where's Chris
my.
at? Is Chris dead?
So Chris looks like maybe not loaded into the game. Not sure if this is a DC or something, but one of the things that I Snipedown was just praising Apex Legends about is the reconnect feature, the ability to reconnect into a lobby that Apex Legends has worked on. You gotta hope and send best wishes that Chris can get back in. That would be a huge blow for them in this final opportunity.
I think once Chris is off screen, Chris can't reconnect.
Well, I am.
Sorry to break your heart.
I'm not gonna. No comment. I don't know. I'm not the one in charge of it, and you might know, but that's all. That's all I got to say. We'll see. Maybe Chris will hit the magic. Maybe there will be some magic there. I am not. I am not familiar.
The good thing for Titanus is they actually might be catching a rat here, so that's another KP. Oh, no, Packers actually just went right by them as a rat. Yeah, they missed out on the free KP. The zip rails do wonders for rats, help them get out of nasty situations. So Packers is going to stay alive. Titanus is going to miss out on that KP. What else do we got here? Where is Fake Preds currently standing? They never left the divide, did they?
Why not? Why? I mean, why would they? I think they're in a great spot. I think they totally need information, and we don't necessarily know. They might have the information, but they need to see where the zone is going. It could pull anywhere. We can see something as Terraformer. It could go straight to divide. It could go all over the place. A lot of teams on the western side of the map, though. So that would be, if it pulled eastern or towards Terraformer, there would be a big scramble happening right now. We'll find out in about 13 seconds where that is about to go. 11 squads left. One has gone down at the very beginning, and that gave 3 KP to Fake Preds, who are in first place, narrowly, but they have extended their lead by 3, so about 7 points separating them. And the bottom third team, which is Titanus, who are playing as a duo now in parallel, it'll be about 6 points separating them in second place. And it is going to pull divide Terraformer. So it's interesting. Fake Preds didn't move until you said they haven't moved. Then they moved north, girl, and maybe they're going to have a chance to actually clean up this northern squad. IDG Gunna in trouble there near the gardens. And I do feel that this is going to be Fake Preds taking advantage of it in Eternal Gardens right away. They will hopefully clear out their north, and they will have easy access into where this zone is going to be.
Oh, Fake Preds is gunning Gunna right now. They're chasing them down. TPK, they're on the edge of the storm, getting into cultivation. There's no one around there, so they should be making it in safely as long as they've got the meds. And they do have crafting as well, so take a look at that kill feed, though. Regretful on Team Parallel getting a solo kill. That's going to give them some kill points. TPK, still doing their thing. They're not up for contest, though. We want to focus on Parallel. We want to focus BNB. We want to focus on Fake Preds. And we want to focus on Titanus. Titanus is still a duo. They're down there with TPK. A little bit further away. But, yep, here we go. Fake Preds making their way back into the zone. BNB very close by, though.
Wow. Fake Pred's in a pretty good spot, so is BNB. They're close. There's a lot of teams who are on the other sides of these ridges. To the north of them, Eternal Gardens is actually clear, so Fake Preds are pretty good on their north, but to the right that they just passed that choke, waiting on the other side of it is BNB. So Fake Preds, I'm not sure if they know that. They might just be taking this round angle to circumvent any pressure in the middle and go right back to the divide where they started and where they know there will be no other team because they came from there and they've already kind of cleared that area. So Fake Preds making a pretty smart play to go ahead and put themselves in a strong position to close out this top 8. How can Titanus make this happen, though, girl? Because that is the story of the day. They're playing well. They're coming off a win. They've won twice, more than any other team, but now they're a duo on the southern side of Terraformer. How do they pull this off?
They just got to play their best. They can't really contest one of our top teams as they're lacking a player. So at this point in time, they have to take third parties. We've seen duos like BNB earlier today in our game number 1 or 2. They took some third parties. They ended up getting kill points. more placement for the eliminations, as well as completely killing some squads. So that's exactly what they have to do. They have to put themselves in positions to where they can get some free shots, but also get out. Free shots, get out. What they don't want is to run into full 3-man right now, as they might end up running into Jet Life and putting themselves in a bad position. We'll see about that. Theater 3 did a great job killing the Goonies earlier on. They ended up taking the kill points Fake Preds wanted in the Eternal Gardens. What can we see here? So yeah, Titanus, as a duo, you got to put yourself in a good position. BNB also duo, got to put yourself in a good position. Parallel, they're still alive. They're taking the 3v3 right about now. They have to win this if they want a chance to win it all here today, and they are going to be playing against a Catalyst. Are they taking this fight?
I think they got the fight. It might have been against Habibi, and it seems like maybe they have already finished that.
Oh,
we did lose the squad, and that would be a couple of kills. So this is good for Parallel. So let's call things even. And now they're most likely sitting about only 3 points behind Fake Preds. But look at this pull. It is going to pull a little south. So Parallel and BNB, they are going to have to move it. Look at this BNB with a double. Are they running into Parallel without realizing it, girl? This is a moment that could change things heavily. BNB have a duo. The smoke, did that come out from a Wope? It might have just been a defensive smoke, and I think BNB don't want any of that. I think they're fine. Just to hold back. It will be actually a Bangalore ultimate. Rolling Barrage in response, and a quick grapple zip line from Dynasty and a Wope just to get out of there and keep the high ground, which I love the play. They're going to be in zone, and they're going to make life difficult for Parallel. He's going to have to wrap around this entire Terraformer. And it looks like all they're going to do is end up having to run into TPK.
All right, Chief Louie. Taking a bit of damage from Titanus, but Titanus might end up getting wrapped by TPK, so like you said, it's a bit dangerous right there. I think I called him Chef Louie earlier. Chief. Chef, not Chef. Chief.
It's not Chef Louie?
No.
Oh,
maybe, though.
no.
Maybe.
I
maybe
think
in
I
real
called him
life.
Chef.
You never know. Could have a couple different titles, right?
True that. I thought I called him Chef Louie because that's what I thought I saw, but it's Chief Louie. Much respect. Maybe you're the chief of the kitchen, you're right, like in real life. If not, we respect you. Milk Bros here. That's right. With Chief Louie on the Bloodhound and the Hemlock. Single fire. You like to see it. A little bit of a relic. Meta's past. Very strong weapon. Oh my goodness. That burst showing exactly what the Hemlock can do. Parallel alive and well. They've got 3 kills, like we'd mentioned, so they've kind of evened things up with Fake Preds. But I mean, if you even look at this map view to kind of set the stage for where we are here with Zone 3 about to end, you will see that all these teams are literally in the same exact scenario with each other, and the only team separated from this could be a good thing or a bad thing, is Fake Preds. They are isolated in the divide. Every other team is here engaged in a fight, and this could go so well for Parallel. It's because it's a risk. It's a risk for them to fight, but if they do get these kills, this is the difference in making up how many points they are behind Fake Preds. So this is a huge push for Parallel and Regretful. If they get this 3 KP, they're in all intents and purposes tied for first.
What were you talking about, Risk? This looks like free KP for Parallel. They're gonna chase everyone down inside of this building. Unless, Tech, come on, stay alive, don't make me look bad. No, you're doing just great. Parallel did come in at the perfect time, but I think they actually saved BNB. Dynasty is still alive. Parallel taking down Theater 3, but are they gonna find Dynasty? Because Dynasty is still alive right under that building. We're yet to find out. Fake Preds, though, we said they were alone in the divide, but they actually wanted a bit of the action. They're coming down, taking a look at Titanus down south there, forcing them into the zone. Lovett's down to 10 HP. He has to heal or he's going to die to the storm right about now. I don't know if they can make it out alive. Titanus is eliminated in 5th place, Rain Day.
Oh my God, Daniel Spam's got that, and look at this! Parallel almost going down. They're gonna use the door, and they've got the kill. Finesse has finished it off, and this is insane. This is insane because I think Parallel have now taken the lead in terms of points, and it has come down to Fake Preds and Parallel being able to win the 1v1 against each other. That will be the swing. There's another squad here that could play Spoiler, that could play Magician, that could pull a rabbit out of the hat and change the dynamic here for this final fight. But we are very close to having simply a 3v3 to determine who wins the entire tournament in North America. And that team, of course, that could play Spoiler, that could change everything with one stray bullet or one stray grenade. It is TPK without Zephyr, but with Ghost and Nightmare in full action, finding their way to the backside of this circle with Finesse securely planted in the middle zone. Even if these two KP go the way of Parallel Girl, it might mean that even if they lose to Fake Preds, they've got enough kills to where it won't matter, that they'll still be in the lead. So it's a game of inches.
But in the same time you're saying that, Fake Preds flies over the mountain and ends up flying right beside Parallel. So TPK won't be getting pushed anytime soon. And now we have our two top contenders in buildings right beside each other. Neighbors, friends, enemies, right next to each other, all in the same space. And actually, taking a look at the map, Fake Preds were on the other side of the mountain. If they didn't have a Valkyrie, they would have ended up dying.
Right.
So really good of them to be able to position themselves well, take the top of that mountain and fly in a safe spot, because if they ended up flying on Parallel, who knows what would have happened. If they flew on TPK, who knows what would have happened. But they found a safe spot in the zone, and they're gonna stay alive for now. Is the Seer ultimate gonna go down? Is that too early? Are we gonna have it for the end fight? Are we gonna push right now and secure ourselves the dub tech? Kind of playing aggressive here, Rain Day.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been waiting for the action to start, it has certainly begun. Do not move an inch. Gravity, a big player in this one, but who is going to be the one who's sucked into the black hole? Who is going to be the one who goes into infinity and beyond and comes out on top? The hero of this story, will it be Parallel, the new team, trying to take away from the top spot and steal the crown? Or will Fake Preds somehow find the answer? It's Woko who goes down. And it is up to Regretful here to continue this. The RE45 from the care package. Will it be enough to take down Route? And it's TPK goes to finish Route as well. Finesse finishing off Woko. It's just one more left. And that should mean that Parallel are in clear command of this situation, with TPK coming in at the worst possible time for Fake Preds. It is only a matter of that exact time before Parallel seems like they can name themselves the victor, unless Daniel Spams can pull out a miracle. It looks like Parallel is going to have this one in the bag.
All right, Daniel Spams is going to have to bait TPK, use them a little bit, and try and secure this victory, but it is looking damn near impossible because Parallel is not going to stop, not going to let Daniel get away. You are not running out of our sights. You're going to die to our hands, or you're going to die at some point.
Wow.
All right, Daniel Spams eliminated Parallel, one of our best fighting teams in this tournament in Broken Moon today. It's got to be Parallel.
And when you talk about a Broken Moon, it seems like they have spent all day long putting the pieces back together. And I feel like they feel right at home from what they have demonstrated today. It was a phenomenal start for our winners of Season 2. And they looked like they would be the victors without a doubt. But then came a knock at the door. And as they reached to open it and turn the latch, it was blown off from the sides by a trio known as Parallel, who assaulted the mountaintop, kicked down those on high, and took a seat themselves. They have taken your North American wildcard day one by storm, and it will be Parallel who are your champions.
I'm going to be honest with you, Rain Day. I didn't see this coming, but each and every game they performed even better. They killed even more players. They even took that 3v3 against Fake Preds. I mean, who in the right mind would instigate the fight in a top 3 situation? Who? Parallel, they're so confident. They got so much damage. They had the RE45 as well, and that, gave them a little bit of an advantage there with those smokes, seeing with that digi-threat. They played it so perfectly, and ultimately were the best fighting team today.
I mean, the hype is real. The hype is here. We feel it. We see it. It was a question of, can we see an underdog? Can we see someone who was not on the map turn some heads today? And certainly that is what we got and more. From 7th place finish in our Season 2 Grand Finals to a first place start in day number 1 over the winners of those Grand Finals. It was 60 points that separated their performances that day. Now, probably less than 10, but it will still be Parallel who are number 1, and that's the only number that matters when it comes down to winning today. 600 in the pocket, you would assume. And we will get those official confirmed final standings, but it is all but certain. And it came down to the willingness to fight, the willingness to take a risk that this team demonstrated over any others in the building today. And what a lobby. What a performance. It was just a great thing to see, and that really secured it there. Daniel Spam's doing his best trying to hide out, but Parallel just did not miss. Bringing out the Hemlock as well. Tech showing us a little fancy footwork there, fancy gun work. And it would be all she wrote when the RE45 got this high with the smokes. You're not going to stop it. And they knew that. Parallel with the win, with the dub, and PlayStation tournaments. And look at the kills they have to show for it.
Master Circuit wild cards. How many kills do we got here? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kills plus 12 points for first place. That's a good 24-point game. Man, what a good showing. And I really love that team composition too. Bangalore smokes, you can see through them because you got the Seer ultimate. It's just a perfect wombo combo. Pairing that with the Horizon, whom is one of the strongest legends in the game right now when it comes to utilizing that ultimate. Parallel got 2 wins. Titanus got 2 wins. Fake Preds only got 1 win, but they were out there today, Rain Day, and that's what Fake Preds does. Shows the consistency throughout the entire lobby. Now that they've got themselves 2nd place, but it is Parallel that netted themselves the victory. Look at that, 87-78.
And it was a good point to mention our top 5 because TPK did stay in 5th place. So did B&B. They were right there. Nobody surpassed it. We had our top 3 pretty much cemented after this. Our top 5 cemented after game number 4. But a ton of movement in the top moments. Titaness was 2nd. Fake Preds was 1st. Parallel, obviously below that. And then all of a sudden, Titaness were 3rd. Parallel was able to jump up and now is a 9-point lead to take 1st place in our day number 1 of our Season 3 of our wild cards here. Let's take a look at what's to come. We've got a couple of these. We've got a lot of wild cards here. Let's talk a little bit about it. December 2nd is when you're next going to catch us, so enjoy your November. Happy Thanksgiving, preemptively to all of you who celebrate it, and we cannot wait to be back here with you. Then, we get busy. December 2nd, December 12th, December 17th. Then you get to go ahead for another extended holiday break. Enjoy your holidays over that time, Christmas, and of course New Year's. And then after the New Year, we will be back January 7th for a final to remember, all starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time for both EU and then North America afterwards in the afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Madden, that's coming up on November 15th. We've got Rainbow Six Siege a couple days after with Mortal Kombat rounding out that week in November at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Then we flash forward to the next week, and it's Dragon Ball Fighters Fight Nights, November 28th at 6 p.m. And then Fortnite Cup at 29th, 10 a.m. Early start for that one. Finishing it all out this busy month of November with Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition. Fight Nights on November 30th. So a lot of action here. You know where to find it, compete.playstation.com. But let's talk a little bit about something else that's been going on behind the scenes. It's Warrior Week. And for us at PlayStation, we want to just mention a little bit about it. It's a live 7-day live streaming event. And what it does is it benefits the injured veterans whom WWP serves. Streamers, you can come together and honor Veterans Day, and you can raise awareness and funds so that WWP can provide life-changing programs to wounded warriors and, very importantly, their families as well. You can register today at the link below. It is tiltify.com/WWP www.warrior-week-2022. So get involved today. We are very close to reaching that goal. And again, happy belated Veterans Day, since we did not have broadcast on that day. Girl, let's round out your thoughts on the day overall. Big win in North America, but we saw EU also. It's a great start to the Master Circuit day one. Let me know your thoughts.
Oh, my thoughts are just appreciation and gratitude. Thank you to everyone that supported the stream today. Thank you to everyone that worked on the stream today. Thank you to the chat for being so lovely. And a big thank you to our players for making the show possible. All right. Big thank you to PlayStation for putting this on, but big thank you to the players for putting out their best today. It was an amazing show to watch, both EU and NA. Everyone's played incredibly well, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much, girl, for your expertise, your wisdom, your joy, and your casting ability here today. It's always a pleasure working with you. And a big shout out to all of our broadcast crew, PlayStation crew, behind the scenes, everyone who puts this together, and all of our partners to make this happen. And yes, the community, the players. That's why we're here. That's what it's about, making sure Apex Legends has a home within the PlayStation Esports, PlayStation Tournaments ecosystem. My name is Rainday. We appreciate you. We love you, and we will see you soon. So remember to never give up, never stop gaming. Enjoy your November. We'll see you December 2nd. Take care.
PlayStation